request to raise their prices by another 4.5% in Utah. This comes just months after they had a similar rate hike approved. The company says the price increase would be used to fund their new wildfire liability insurance fund. A company spokesperson tells the Deseret News this fund is just for Utah, and they will be transparent about what they charge. The Utah Public Service Commission will have the final say on whether this price hike can happen. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. White House Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is leading a U.S. delegation to Russia today. He is meeting with President Vladimir Putin. ABC's Ian Pannell reports.
Ahead of the meeting, Russian state media showing the Russian leader supposedly meeting with senior officers at a command post, talking up battlefield advances. Why? Well, this is partly to pressure Witkoff to force Ukraine to accept the loss of its land, the argument being that this is probably the best deal they're going to get. But a source familiar with the discussions held earlier this week telling ABC News the Russians are refusing to agree to a ceasefire unless Ukraine cedes territory.
Putin has claimed without evidence that his forces have captured 2 Ukrainian cities as well. Your money at this moment, the Dow's up 269. That's about 0.5%. We're at 47,567. Coming up, it looks like we have some rain moving in later today. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:02. Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
I'm Jordan Wilcox, your Utah tax attorney. When life gets overwhelming, some things tend to fall by the side.
I'm Carlos Sanchez from Draper, Utah. I was managing a business, helping out a business, doing paperwork and getting paid, and my wife got sick. We filed taxes, but then we got audited. And when I went and talked to the IRS, they didn't give me any choice. The IRS pretty much said, this is what you owe us, when are you gonna pay us? And we're talking quite a bit. But every time I drive, I listen to the radio. Jordan Wilcox, Jordan Wilcox. So I figure there's a reason this guy's on the radio. So I called him.
Put an end to IRS collection and aggression today.
The amount that the IRS came up with, close to $250,000, and the offer in compromise was about $7,600. That's it.
This is Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. Let's solve your IRS nightmare. Visit endtaxworry.com.
Go for it. The outcome, it was worth it. I'm okay.
endtaxworry.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BOOST25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BOOST25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BOOST25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you want to walk, play pickleball, and enjoy other fun activities to stay healthy, but you can't because of bad feet? Hi, this is Mike, and the Good Feet store wants to help.
I just had difficulty walking. I tried them on in the store, and my foot felt so much better.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet store.
Don't let bad feet, knees, or back problems get in the way of staying healthy and having fun.
Thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm bowling 3 nights a week.
Get back to doing what you love. At the Good Feet store, we'll personally fit you at high-quality arch supports to maximize your comfort. Stop in the Good Feet store or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. And here's Ricky Meese.
A couple of vehicles over to the right shoulder, southbound to I-15 near Antelope Drive in Layton. That's what's been causing some slowdowns into Clearfield. More heavy and slow traffic southbound I-15 between the North Interchange and 6 North. That's finally starting to ease a bit, just not quite gone completely. And leftover morning drive delays northbound I-15 from just before 33rd South to the 6th South exit downtown. Use Superior Water and Air for all your HVAC and water treatment needs. Call 974-9090 or visit superiorwaterandair.com. Superior Water and Air, we got this. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A weak storm is coming in today. There'll be some rain and wet snow this afternoon, but that'll turn into more fluffy snow later tonight. Expect a high this afternoon of 42 degrees. Right now it's 37. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Inside Sources. Holly, you know what my favorite subject was in high school and junior high school? You're never going to guess.
Math.
You did guess on the first guess. Well, I only mention that because we have 2 segments today on math.
Well,
I don't get to solve
happy.
equations or do anything like that, but we get to talk about math. We don't get to talk about that very much. But anyway, people wonder why I studied math and then went to law school, and that's a different story altogether. We'll get into some.
You were going to be a metallurgist.
That's
or
right.
something.
That's right. I was a metallurgist for a little while.
Okay.
So let's talk about, speaking of smart, let's talk about smartphones and some interesting information that's come out about parents who buy their kids smartphones at the age of 12 or young kids, because we're finding that sometimes that's not the best idea. ABC's Jim Ryan joined Utah's Morning News to talk a little bit more about some findings from a study from the Pediatric Journal.
The average right now, 11. That's the average, and that was found in this study, too, that was published in the journal Pediatrics this week. Now, the researchers don't draw a firm connection between giving a preteen kid, a smartphone and problems that come later, but it does show a correlation there, a possible suggestion that giving a kid a phone that age, a tween or a preteen, those kids were at a higher risk of depression, obesity, and insufficient sleep. They're just not sleeping enough. Now, this is the biggest study of its kind, about 10,500 kids participating in the Adolescent Brain Cognitive Development Study.
Yeah, kids under 12 with smartphones face higher risk of depression, obesity, and this was a study of 10,500 kids. I mean, those are numbers. Those are statistics numbers that I think, Holly, people have to take very seriously if they're considering get their kid a smartphone.
Yeah, and here's one of the things that I think, and I just am barely seeing the study, so I haven't had a chance to read the entire study. It's long, it's academic, but one of my questions is, they're saying, Jim Ryan just said it interferes with sleep. It can cause or can lead to increased depression, increased obesity. But what about kids who are using tablets? Because they have calling capability, right? If they have access to, for example, Facebook Messenger on the kids app, they can make a phone call with that to people on their approved list, right? So I'm just wondering if it's more than just a smartphone, but definitely it's concerning. And then of course we have a plethora, I think, of opportunities to give kids not smartphones. Right.
And in fact, Jim Ryan did talk about the study. Not only talked about smartphones, but said that kids face some greater mental challenges, even with the so-called dumb phone.
I talked with somebody earlier today about that very thing. Yeah, he had given his 2 daughters phones that didn't have internet capability. In other words, they're dumb phones. You can make phone calls with them. You can receive phone calls. You can receive text messages, but that's it. Still, he said that his daughters were subject to cyberbullying through text messaging. So even having a dumb phone doesn't necessarily guarantee that your kid can't face some potential risks.
When I was reading this, I saw the phrase dumb phone, and I thought it was somebody from KSL that was making joke, but I guess that's what it's called. If you're not a smartphone, what else would you be?
Right.
Those are phones that don't necessarily have access to the internet.
They don't. Yeah, they don't. So think about like a flip phone, or when cell phones first came out, right? They weren't internet enabled. They were just like I had a Palm Pilot back in the day, and a BlackBerry, and you could type on them, but it was not internet enabled. But still, I mean, this wasn't part of the study, but it was Jim Ryan's experience talking to people, so anecdotal at this point. But he's not wrong. You can text. You can still send cyberbullying text. My understanding is you can even get images to come across, inappropriate images to come across if you format it the right way.
Right. And another study, part of the study, found that teens are spending more than an hour on their phones during school hours. An hour
Not
during
in Utah.
school hours. I mean, that's
well,
yeah.
unless they're trying to get around the rules. Yeah.
I mean, and I think studies like this is one of those studies that you could have guessed the outcome.
Yeah.
You absolutely could have guessed the outcome, but it was important to do it anyway, and so that parents can have something.
Especially as you're headed into Christmas time, right?
Absolutely.
Are you going to buy your kid a phone? Is this the year?
Yeah, and you look at something like this, you say, well, maybe I should wait a little while. Maybe 12 is a little bit, or under 12 really, is a little bit young to get somebody a smartphone because they're going to sit home and look at it all day. They're going to sit home and not go to sleep. Maybe look at it during school. Maybe look at it during time you're having dinner, trying to talk to your child, do certain things. And yeah, it's going to create a higher risk of depression and obesity. Things that, I mean, you at that age, you don't even want to go down that road.
So I think last week we talked about some research that talked about how long kids are on social media every day. And it was something like 6.5 hours, which is the equivalent of one full school day, right? So I don't remember if it was older teens or not, if it was separated out that way, but just really incredible amounts of time being spent on electronic devices and not making connections with real human beings.
Yeah. At what age did you give your kids a smartphone? Text us at 57500 and let us know what age you gave your kid a smartphone. Ultimately, Jim Ryan did tell us that it's the parents' responsibility to make sure they're making smart decisions about the tech that their kids use.
But it is the parents' responsibility. It's their decision, to decide whether their kid should have a phone, whether it should have internet capability. And I think that it all comes down to the kid before the phone, right? If your child eats well, gets plenty of exercise, gets plenty of sleep at night, then you might be able to ease a phone into that mix. If not, you're setting up the potential for deeper problems, for depression, for emotional issues, and for just plain lack of sleep. That's not good.
Well, and there are certainly parents that want their children to have phones, smartphones, whatever. And so sometimes it's the parent's choice because they want to be able to get in touch with their child at any time just to make sure that they're safe, that they're happy, that they're comfortable. So, I mean, sometimes parents want to have that tether as well.
Yeah, sure. So it is a way, and that with the quote-unquote dumb phone, that's one of the reasons I think parents give those phones to kids younger than 12 so that they can get a hold of a parent if they need to, right? Whether it's an issue at school, maybe both parents work, those types of things, you have to be able to get a hold of a parent, and that allows them to do that. It's interesting, your question about when did you give your kids a smartphone? So smartphones were not a thing when most of my kids were younger.
I was going to say, right.
And so I remember having one. She was an older teenager when she got her first cell phone. And she complained bitterly a few years later when one of the younger kids got one younger than she was. I'm like, they didn't exist when you were that age.
Give me a break, right? Yeah.
Like, stop blaming me, man.
We didn't have to deal with that with our children either because there were no smartphones when my kids were kids. I shouldn't say. I don't believe any of my grandchildren, and I think the oldest one is probably about 10 or 11, have a smartphone. So kudos to my children.
We do have one texter who says my kids couldn't have a phone until they could pay for it, so it was junior high age and not a smartphone. Right. So I think
you want a phone? Okay.
You pay for it.
You pay for it.
Well,
great idea.
if you choose an Apple phone, man, those things are really pricey.
Yeah, that's pretty smart.
Speaking of smartphones.
Yeah, right.
And speaking of smart and speaking of math, I think the IRS and math sounds like a scary thing, but in reality, it's a new federal bill that will actually make things easier for taxpayers. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Holidays are here, the countdown to Christmas, and it's time for you to make your reservations at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. I have to tell you how festive it is, whether it's downtown Salt Lake City at 275 Southwest Temple or up at Hotel Park City. Just the atmosphere, the decor, it is spectacular at Ruth's Chris. Now, as great as that ambiance is, you're there for a steak, right? You're there for a great, great meal. And Ruth's Chris Steakhouse never disappoints. Pick out that perfect steak. It will be cooked to perfection, and it's not just steaks. They have the seafood and the poultry and other dishes and the desserts at this time of year, the side dishes. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, the perfect place to celebrate the holidays this year. And don't forget, the perfect stocking stuffer, a gift card from Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
If your family is anything like mine, you probably have a child who's hoping holiday magic will put a new phone under the tree this year. But as a mom, I've seen firsthand how screens and online dangers have stolen childhood from our kids. That's why I chose TrueMe, the all-make kid-safe phone for digital wellness and positive emotional health. With TrueMe, I say no to bullies, predators, pornography, and social media, so my kids can say yes to fun, safe content, safe contacts, safe apps, and a safe browser. TrueMe is everything my kids need. A phone that truly grows with them, without the distractions and negativity.
Right now, while supplies last, get a free device for the holidays with a new line activation at TrueMe.com. Plans start at $24.95 a month with no contracts or hidden fees, plus support from real people right here in Utah. That's TROOMI.com.
TrueMe. Create Christmas magic without losing the magic of childhood.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. The other night with my wife, Dee, we saw Frozen at Hale Center Theater, and it was delightful. I have a little confession. You know the song, Let It Go? My little granddaughters sing that so much that I'm afraid I haven't fully appreciated it until I saw it performed at Hale Center Theater. The artistry of the presentation and the staging brought that song to life for me. I have become a true believer. And the puppetry at Hale Center Theater, when they bring Sven out and when they have Olaf, you are going to love it. And don't forget, they have special presentations of Frozen where you can bring the younger kids. We've already got that booked for our family. It's Frozen on the stage right now at Hale Center Theater. And of course, you've got to make sure you get your tickets for A Christmas Carol. It always sells out. And by the way, Frozen is selling out very, very fast. Go to hct.org and lock down those tickets, get season tickets for the holidays, and so much more. hct.org.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Mr. Max, suiting for every important chapter of your life. Weddings, proms, new job, any celebration, mission callings, and more. Mr. Max there to suit your needs with 9 locations or MrMac.com.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. I'm here to warn you about telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Some of these scammers may say threatening things like you will be arrested if you don't make payments or provide personal information. Do not fall for these tricks. These calls are not from us. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you for information or money. If you receive a call like this, hang up. Never give the caller your personal information, like your Social Security number or bank account, or send money in any form, cash, gift cards, wire transfers, or prepaid debit cards. Report the call to our law enforcement arm, the Office of the Inspector General, at oig.ssa.gov. Share this information with your friends and family.
Inside Sources.
Well, if you make a mistake on your taxes, the IRS now has to tell you where you made the mistake, how to fix it due to some new legislation that was signed into law, I think yesterday, Holly, by the president. It's called the Internal Revenue Service Math, I love that word, and Taxpayer Help Act of 2025. And so what it does is this. Historically, if you make a mistake on your tax returns, the Internal Revenue Service will just say, you made a mistake, you miscalculated, you did this, you did that, send it back. Now they're required under this new law, and by the way, this is bipartisan legislation, to send you notice to your last known address, describe the mathematical or clerical errors in comprehensive plain language, including the type of error, where it is in the IRS code, the specific line on the return where the error was made, a description of the error. I mean, they've got to walk you through, hey, you made a mistake, and here's what the mistake is. It makes a lot of sense because otherwise taxpayers, myself included, when I've had mistakes or errors in the past, have to go to an accountant, have to go to whoever it is that helps you prepare your tax returns. I don't prepare my own. And start over and say, hey, what happened here? And that could take, for me, just my accountants are so busy, it can take weeks or months.
Yeah.
Now the IRS kind of spoon feeds you that a little bit.
Well, it's not spoon feeding. It's making the IRS show their math, right? Which I think is funny. Because it's intimidating, I think, to get a notice from the IRS saying, hey, you did this wrong, and now you owe us money, which is what I've had happen, actually. And I'm still fighting it. It's like, no, I've showed you, like, I spent 4 hours on the phone with you. Actually, 3.5 hours were on hold, and then a half an hour just recently trying to figure something out from 2 years ago. And then I just got another notice recently saying, oh, hey, by the way, you owe us $10,000. I'm like, no, I really don't.
Yeah, we had the opposite problem. We overpaid, and we contact the IRS, and they're like, well, there's a shutdown.
Too bad, so sad.
Call us in August. Okay, whatever.
So, look, I think people are afraid of the IRS coming after them for tax mistakes that they didn't know they made. And I wonder if our listeners have any stories where they actually made mistakes on taxes or if they've ever been audited. And I'll add this, too. So there was a adoption tax credit while we were adopting, and it was always flagged because it was considered high risk for fraud. So I kept really good records of everything we spent. But I am telling you, I was audited every year for something like 5 years straight because we kept adopting.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I've never been audited.
Oh, yeah. I have been. Yeah, but you know, yeah, exactly.
It's always a first.
Because I felt like I had kept such good records, I was able to just send back. In fact, I had copies of receipts from foreign countries and, you know, really down to the penny. And I just sent them in, you know, 40 pages of here's what it costs to do this adoption.
Yeah, we just have a separate outside CPA do our taxes.
Yeah.
So I assumed that the IRS must think, okay, you know, somebody's independent doing it. But yeah, we're talking about the Math Act, the Taxpayer Help and Math Act of 2025, which requires the IRS to give you information about your errors in your returns more than just, hey, you made a mistake, you need to fix this. They have to just spell it out for you. This has got to create a bit more work for the IRS, which is a little bit concerning.
Well, they're maybe short-staffed right now. But I'm reading this article talking about this legislation, and it's in a thing called investmentnews.com. One of the things that they say is the IRS sends out millions of so-called math error notices proposing adjustments to tax liabilities every year, often without explaining the rationale. And they often don't warn, and I didn't know this, that if you fail to respond within 60 days, basically that means you concede the changes. And then so if they tell you you owe $10,000, well, guess what? If you haven't responded in 60 days, I guess you're saying you do owe $10,000.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's another part of this legislation. It does give you your appeal or contest time periods.
Your time frames, so you understand.
If you want to contest this, get something into us by September 3rd or whatever the day is. So you don't miss that because otherwise, you didn't respond in time. Let's move on. You owe the money.
Yeah. So I think this is a good bill. I think it's not as scary as it sounds, right? The IRS and math.
And proposed by Democrat Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts, Republican Bill Cassidy from Louisiana. Yep. I don't know how the two of them hooked up. Maybe they both have some,
I don't know. Sometimes they look for ways to work on bipartisan bills.
Yeah, but it's bipartisan and it's been signed into law.
Yep.
Amends the IRS code and gives a little bit more to the IRS to say, look, it's not enough that you tell people where there are errors. You've got to spell them out and show them exactly what it is and give them a chance to fix it before you can start imposing before you just close the door on them and say, hey, you owe the money, see you later, bye.
That's right. Too bad, so sad. So it was passed in the House. So the way the federal government works a little bit different than in Utah. It has to pass both houses separate pieces of legislation. So on the House side, it was passed in March, actually, by Representatives Brad Schneider, who is a Democrat from Illinois, and Randy Feenstra, who's a Republican from Iowa. So again, bipartisan, bicameral, which just means both houses. And then it hit the president's desk at the very end of October, and he signed it into legislation yesterday.
We want our listeners to text us at 57500. What are your biggest well, if you can tell us your tax stories in 2 minutes or less. Have you ever been audited? What's your biggest tax nightmare? Text us at 57500. I'll tell you, my biggest tax nightmare was a year ago when I got a notice from the IRS that said I owed. It was a substantial amount of money, and I knew it was wrong. We paid it, and a year later, I'm still fighting with them, and they finally acknowledged. Guess what, Scortis, you were right. We overbilled you by a lot, and the check's in the mail. You may get it by spring.
Yeah.
If we get up to speed by then. But I'm like,
there's a government shutdown. Can't give you any money.
Good news is you won. Bad news is you may not get paid anytime soon.
Oh wow!
But that was a tough one for us because my accountant called me. It was like at 11:50 on the night before taxes were due and said, you have to pay this money or you're going to get dinged tomorrow. You'll be late and they'll start accruing interest. And he literally, I'm doing a wire transfer from my home, in my bathrobe, and it was a substantial.
So your accountant was wrong.
Yes, my accountant was wrong.
Well,
I know.
Maybe you need a new accountant.
I know. He went with me to the IRS with his tail between his legs and said, hey, I calculated Scortis' accounts wrong. And the IRS was great. The woman was wonderful. But
that's good to
She
hear.
said, we're not processing checks anytime soon. So
yeah. Wow.
And it was,
that's
of course,
so
when we met with her, it was during the shutdown. So they were not doing anything.
I'm surprised you could get a meeting during the shutdown.
I have to say, the people at the IRS, once you got past the gauntlet of security, were incredibly kind. I mean, it wasn't like what you might expect with, that they're.
There is a stereotype.
But the woman that helped us was just she could have been nicer and said, "Look, this is the mistake. You made the mistake. We'll fix it. See you in a couple months."
Yeah, one of the things that happened with the IRS recently, which this part I think is sad. So they had a free program where you could file your taxes, and without paying money, right, for either a tax program, software program, or an accountant. And I'm assuming that yours is a lot more complicated than many people's, but they just did away with that, which is unfortunate because that was another thing that was super helpful, I think, to taxpayers, is to be able to go onto the IRS website themselves and do their taxes for free. And now that option has been taken away.
I was a little concerned when the new administration took office in January, when they were really talking about slashing the budget of the IRS and slashing the number of employees at the IRS for maybe good or bad reasons.
I know.
But it's not necessarily a good reason if you're owed money.
Right. Right. We do have a texter. Their biggest tax nightmare was when my wife accidentally sent my state check to the IRS and my IRS check to the state. Both of them cashed the checks, so I didn't know for 2 years that they went to the wrong places, and it was a mess to clean up. So if they're like me, the state taxes are a lot less than the federal. And then another person said, had someone use my son's social security number to work DoorDash in another state. So DoorDash filed a 1099. I didn't know about it, proving it wasn't me. Sorry, not my son's. To use their own social security number. So they get this notice, a 1099, that they were this contract worker. Proving it wasn't me was a real headache, they said.
Yeah. So to help our listeners, in the next segment, we're going to have a CPA join the show to walk through how to discuss this new law and how to understand it, and some tips to avoid making mistakes on your taxes. Stay with us.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour. Mill Creek wants to remind the children in its community there are endless career possibilities and multiple ways to get there. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
The city is working with the United Way of Salt Lake to hold Mill Creek Futures. It's a program that offers an inside look at careers across different industries and exposes children to the different ways to get there. The program organizes field trips and guest speakers, showing kids all sorts of careers and giving them an idea of what it takes to get there. The program also hopes to help kids start planning their education post-high school and look at possible internships. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News. This is the week that around 250 federal agents are expected to arrive in New Orleans for a months-long immigration crackdown.
What do we do?
In a steady rainstorm, several dozen demonstrators stood under umbrellas Monday to protest so-called Operation Swamp Sweep. Felix Allen of the group Ojos, Spanish for Eyes, has been walking kids to school and adults to work.
We just watched to make sure we could be there to film and let people know their rights if anybody got stopped in that neighborhood.
A popular mid-city Mexican restaurant has decided to close during the immigration roundup to protect its employees and customers from arrest. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Your money at this moment. The Dow is up 66 points right now. We're at 47,374. Coming up, we've got rain on the way for later today. Might turn into snow. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:31. A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Are you within 3 years of filing for Social Security? You've heard about delaying your benefits to get a bigger benefits check, right? But guess what? That could be a huge mistake. When you consider your taxes, Medicare premiums, and other benefits, you could potentially get more income by filing early. Find out the precise timing that could get you the most money possible with a free, customized Social Security analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. Don't leave one dime on the table that's rightfully yours. Schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. That's 801-896-9622.
Boss Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the Social Security Administration.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
From holiday hosting to unforgettable gifts, Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. And now, during their Sizzle All the Way sale, you can get 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $35 off with promo code SKY at checkout. I was lucky enough to receive Omaha Steaks as a gift, and it was everything I had hoped for. Items were individually packaged so I could cook for the entire family. Or if I was the only one home, I would treat myself with a delicious steak, sides, and even dessert. I loved those nights by myself. Right now is the perfect time to save on delicious gifts and holiday hosting favorites. Every steak is perfectly aged to maximize tenderness and hand-cut by master butchers in America's heartland. It's holiday magic made easy. Save big on gourmet gifts and more holiday favorites with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their Sizzle All the Way sale. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code SKY at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. That's omahasteaks.com, code SKY.
Calling all Jazz fans. If you can't wait another second to see stars like Ace Bailey and Lowry Markkanen tear up the court, you're in luck. Tickets are on sale now. Let's go! No matter what you're looking for, the Utah Jazz has your back. With season tickets, mini plans, and single game options available, there's something for everyone. Whatever your schedule or budget, there's a plan for every fan. Don't miss a moment of the action this season. Secure your tickets today at utahjazz.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. And here is Aubrey Withridge.
From Willard Bay down to Utah Lake, things are looking good there. We do have a crash up in Heber City. This is on US 40, right by River Road. It's if you're going westbound there, you'll see that on the right shoulder. Doesn't seem to be causing much of a delay, but you can just watch out for that there. If you are coming out of Twilla County on the 201 freeway or eastbound I-80, both of those moving at good speeds as well. Coming out of Saratoga Springs, still looking pretty slow if you are traveling on Pioneer Crossing or 2100 North heading over to I-15. Step into the magic of holiday lights at the ballpark at America First Square. Get tickets at theballpark@afs.com. Make this season unforgettable. Holiday lights at the ballpark. I'm Aubrey Withrich in the KSL Traffic Center.
We have a weak storm coming in today. There'll be some rain and wet snow this afternoon, turning to fluffier snow later tonight. Expect a high before the storm of 42 degrees. Right now it's 37. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
So we do have another texter that sent one in, and I appreciated this. I have been audited 3 times by the feds and once by the state. The people in the IRS and state tax offices are fantastic. They are so kind and watch out for me to get the best deal. I have never had a bad experience with them. And then they add this: the legislators who make the laws need help.
Well, that's not so bad. Well, I think we all need a little bit of help to explain what we talked about in the last segment, because we were talking about the new Internal Revenue Service Math and Taxpayer Help Act of 2025. To help us break it down, we have Susan Spears, CEO of UACPA, who can help us understand this and this new law. Susan, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Always a pleasure to be here with you all.
I'm wondering if you can just start with a broad overview. We talked about this act a little bit in the last segment, but from your perspective as a CPA, what is your perspective on what this bill will do, this law?
Well, I do like that it's going to identify not only the line items that the IRS is changing, but I'm hoping that it's going to show their numbers, so if they're saying, let's say line item 42 amount of tax withheld is $5,000, but in reality it was $7,000, at least we can start honing in and knowing where we need to make corrections. I mean, it's not uncommon that there are math errors on tax returns, even though a lot of our taxpayers use software to file those taxes, but sometimes things are forgotten to be input, and just not to have to be able to back into what the IRS is saying will be really nice.
Susan, this has got to create an additional burden, maybe a significant burden on the IRS, don't you think?
That's exactly what worries me. I mean, as I
Right.
was reading through this, I thought, man, we can't even get the IRS to pick up their phones sometimes. Now all of a sudden they're going to have to do line by line. What is this going to do to their bandwidth? I'm concerned about that. I don't see that they have it.
I'm wondering if you could share your experience with how, what are the most common mistakes people make when they're filing taxes? Is there something that just generally happens or often happens?
My experience, and I think even talking with some of our members and colleagues, would be that often it will be either something. Let's just kind of back into it. We're not recording. We'll record our W-2 wages, but maybe we forget to record how much was withheld. And so then you might get a letter saying, "Oh, your refund just got bigger," or "You owe less," but you don't know why. Or often we'll see the estimated payments haven't been put in. So if you're a taxpayer that makes quarterly estimated tax payments, you may get a letter from the IRS indicating, hey, you owe X amount more in taxes, and they don't say why, so then you have to go back to the return and start backing in, and often it's for whatever reason that estimated tax payment has been omitted. Those are two very common ones, but then we also see where maybe interest or dividend income hasn't been reported because a taxpayer didn't get a 1099. Or even I think I was listening in the last segment, you were talking about 1099s, somebody received a 1099 that wasn't theirs, and so the IRS will charge them, and they have no idea what it is, and then we have to go on this other little goose chase to figure out what's going on. So to be able to know specifically what it is that we need to be chasing as the taxpayer, more work for the IRS, but maybe a little less work for us. I mean, the comment's been made, we have to show our math. It's fair that the IRS now has to show how they're determining their numbers.
Speaking of the IRS, Susan, have you or members of the CPA Association noticed a difference in the IRS? And I'm talking about not only the administration coming in at the outset and saying we need to cut at the IRS back, they got rid of a lot of employees, I believe, but they also had a significant period of time, I think 7 weeks, when the government was shut down and we weren't getting a lot from the IRS. Did you notice a change in response time and just being able to get in touch with somebody because of either of those?
Yes. For a minute, things were improving at the IRS. We have employers that will actually hire people to sit on hold waiting for the IRS to pick up, and then they get the courtesy disconnect, if you will, where they just get hung up on. We saw improvement in that for a minute, while they were hiring more service workers, and then we made the cuts, and we're kind of back to having to wait to be on hold. We can't get through to anyone. It takes a long time for responses to letters. You can do a limited amount online with them, but in as far as CPAs, as far as what we do, we struggle with trying to get things completed for our clients when there are questions, just because the IRS does not have the bandwidth to do what they're supposed to do.
So, Susan, and if you missed our last segment, we were talking about the new law just signed by the president that requires the IRS to now tell you where you made a mistake on your taxes and how to fix it. We just had a texter say the IRS should be able to do all those things with software for the most part. Are there tips that you can give people to both avoid making mistakes, but also to not be so afraid of the IRS?
I think, a couple things. As you prepare your own returns, or if you have a CPA prepare your return, make sure you keep the backup, and take some time to review the return before, if you're doing it yourself, before you hit send. Make sure that the W-2s agree with each other, your itemized deductions agree with the backup for there. Make sure especially that you're withholding, because that's a huge error pool there. Make sure that the withholdings match, with what's coming through your W-2s and so forth. Or if you've made estimated payments, make sure that they match and that you have the backup on there. So a little bit of due diligence on our part goes a long way, so that when the IRS does call, they're going to send you a letter, and it sounds like in this bill that you may be getting a certified letter on this. So number one, don't panic. When you get the notice, look at it, take a minute, digest what they're asking, and if you have your backup, it's kind of an easy response. And then you can send copies of that backup to the IRS. It might take them, I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to take them longer than 30 days to get back. You may get a letter that says, hey, we're still looking into this, give us an additional 30 days. That doesn't mean that they're auditing your return or anything like that. It just means that they have a million other pieces of mail that they haven't gotten to, and yours is just in line. So, I know even when I had my own practice, I would say, let's not panic. Let's see what reality is. I think that we're wired to be scared of the IRS. But I think that many of the workers there, they're doing their best. They want to help. They want to do what's right as well.
Susan, maybe in the last 30 seconds, this legislation for me, Joe taxpayer, came out of the blue. Is this something you were aware of, you were watching for, and that the CPA Association applauds now?
We were aware of it. We're watching it. Yes, we applaud it. I think that this this evens the playing field, if you will. We know where our numbers came from. Now we're going to know where the IRS's numbers come from. We can reconcile the two and figure out what needs to happen.
Thank you so much. We've been speaking with Susan Spears, CEO of the Utah Association of CPAs. When we come back, we've been talking about Christmas season. Tech toys are a hit, but there's trouble in Toyland because some AI toys are teaching kids naughty things. Uh-oh.
Sometimes when our furnace stops working, it's something simple we can fix ourselves, if we only knew how. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and the next time your furnace stops working, before you call a company out to fix it, try this first. Go shut the furnace down and make sure your air filter is clean. Go around the house and make sure the vents are open and there's nothing blocking the return airs. If it's been a while since you've changed the batteries in your thermostat, go ahead and do that too. Then go turn the furnace back on, and if it stays on, you're probably good. If it stops working again, you're probably going to want a technician to check it out. If you don't know one, Any Hour Services has a special offer for any homeowners listening. One of our HVAC technicians will diagnose and troubleshoot your furnace for only $29. Then they'll explain what they found and present you with repair options. And don't worry, our technicians service all brands. Call Any Hour Services and let them know you heard about this $29 troubleshooting special on the radio. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
At KSL News Radio, we have a 30-year legacy of honoring Utah teachers, but we can't do it without your help. Please tell us about an important teacher in your life on the KSL Teacher Tribute Wall, presented by Cypress Credit Union. Each month, one lucky teacher wins a $500 gift card from Cypress Credit Union, a $250 gift card to Harmon's, plus season tickets to Hale Center Theater. Say thanks to your teacher today at kslnewsradio.com/teacher from Cypress Credit Union and KSL News Radio.
Well, the holidays are really here. Things are speeding up. I know exactly what we all need to do, and that's head into the Western Nut Company. I'm here with Sarah, and you can take care of it all.
We love the holidays, and we try to make it seamless for our customers to enjoy our gift baskets and our fudge and our brittle and all the things that make it the holidays.
Western Nut is perfect for corporate giving and also for your family and your friends and your neighbors.
For corporate gifting, we have a team that's ready to take your list and ship it right from our store.
You know what I love is Dee and I go into Western Nut and the Mothership, which is right there on 4th and 3rd West, and we just let you guys take care of it all. We select the gift and you guys ship them off, especially to Dee's family in Missouri.
Western Nut's been doing this since 1966, and we've got it down. All the things that you need to cover everybody on your list.
A good place to start is by going online at westernnut.com. That's westernut.com.
Hi friends, Dan the Laptop Man here from PC Laptops. In celebration of over 32 years of serving humans in Utah with their computer and tech needs, we've slashed our prices. And these are the new 2025 models. Here's the deal. You can get our new 2025 S1 desktop with a blazing Ryzen 5 processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing fast storage on this promotion. We also have our new 2025 SM3 laptop with the Intel i5 processor, 16 gigs, and over a terabyte of storage for $999. You can take one home today for $999. And you also get the peace of mind of our lifetime service warranty. We also have 12 months special financing available, and they start as low as $29 a month. But hurry in because supplies are limited. Because at PC Laptops, we love you. PCLaptops.com. Take home a blazing fast 2025 model desktop or laptop for $999 at PCLaptops.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Join the KSL Real Estate Show at a special time this Saturday, 7 a.m. before the BYU pregame show. The latest on Wasatch Front real estate. This Saturday morning from 7 to 8.
So, you want to be a hero.
Here are some ways to get the job. Hunt down that killer shark. Or run into a burning house to save a kitten. Luckily, there's an easier way to become a hero. Call 911 if you see someone experiencing the symptoms of stroke, sudden weakness on one side, or trouble speaking, walking, or seeing. Stroke. Know the signs. Act in time. You'll be a real hero. A message from the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
And expanded Inside Sources.
It was only a matter of time before artificial intelligence hit wonderful Toyland. And in fact, we're now learning that an artificial intelligence-powered teddy bear was caught teaching kids how to light matches. Other AI-powered toys were also placed in a timeout after reports from chatbox-powered toys were helping kids find sexually explicit content and lethal objects.
Naughty toys.
This is really bad. While mixing toys and technology is nothing new, the advocacy group Fair Play says toy manufacturers have entered a new territory without properly researching the effects of AI-powered playtime before putting it on the shelves. Rachel Franz heads the group Young Children Thrive Online initiative and tells ABC News that kids are just too vulnerable with this kind of product.
These toys are embedded with what we call companion AI. This is a form of AI that is designed to mimic human characteristics, features, and emotions, and really act like a friend. These toys are being released with no research and no regulation. We haven't seen the rigorous testing of these products, the independent research that we need in order to know that they are actually safe for children.
So, it just reminds me of, what was that toy? It was the teddy bear that could talk to you, right, back in the day. That they could be scary, right?
I was going to say.
We have ABC technology reporter Mike Dubusky with us to talk to us. What do you know about these AI toys, Mike?
Well, they're increasingly becoming a thing on toy store shelves, these toys with generative AI components to them. A lot of this goes back to like comfort objects and dolls, so things like stuffed animals that have like a little voice box inside them that kids can chat with. Even Barbie dolls, kind of the preeminent doll out there. Barbie, the parent company of that toy maker, Mattel, they recently announced this deal with OpenAI, of course the maker of ChatGPT, to bring this style of technology to their toys. And from a toy maker's perspective, you can kind of see what they're going for, right? There's sort of more interaction between the toy and the kid. They can have these sort of free-flowing conversations. But as you guys alluded to, there's a lot of potential drawbacks here as well. For example, there was this teddy bear that came from a company called Folo Toy that ran on OpenAI's model GPT-4o. As you referenced there, it was found to be in independent testing, telling researchers where to find dangerous objects around the house, even engaging in sexually explicit conversations. Folo Toy eventually pulled this item from its website, no surprise, but now they recently announced on X that it is coming back after rigorous review, testing, and reinforcement of safety modules.
I just have to jump in and say, as a parent, this is deeply concerning to me. So when I was younger and my kids were younger, we could, you could get dolls that would say, "Mama, Mama," right? I mean, but they do not interact with you. And I would have really deep concerns about inappropriate emotional attachments to inanimate objects who are talking to you.
Yeah, there's a long history of this style of toy, but generative AI changes it in a very important way. Susie Talks a Lot was, I think, the one that a lot of people know, but 10 years ago there was also Hello Barbie, which was a Wi-Fi connected Barbie that could talk to you, but again, with only sort of very limited words and phrases that you had to prompt. AI, generative AI, is meant to mimic human language, right? It's trained on human writing and human created materials and is designed to sound like a person. Well, in developing brains, that can have a really big impact. We've seen this happen among teens and preteens, where they have extended conversations with these chatbots, not in toy form, but in website and app form, and it goes horribly wrong. You know, these models, according to the companies, are not really meant for extended hours-long or days-long use, and when they are pushed to that extreme, you can get some very weird answers. And when you couple that with either a developing brain or a person who's going through a mental health crisis, or potentially both, that can really have negative impacts, and that's absolutely true at the child level as well.
But on a technology level, Mike, it was only a matter of time, I suppose, before we had toys that interacted with kids, and there's could be some positives to that. Being uplifting, being optimistic, being positive. But you would think, though, that the toy manufacturers themselves would want to regulate. I mean, you don't want bad teddy bears. You know what I mean? Like
the nightmare.
Right.
Yes, very, very Megan, if you've ever seen that movie. But there's sort of like educational sort of applications to this as well, where, you train a model to teach your kid about, art history or music or whatever it happens to be. And like you have a toy animal or a toy that can kind of go along and help them learn a little bit more about a topic they might be passionate about or something like that. That's the dream, right? And, that you can see kind of why toy makers are interested in this technology. But again, guys, 3 years, almost to the day after ChatGPT launched, a lot of the problems that have been facing this technology are still present. This is a technology that regularly hallucinates. It makes things up. It makes mistakes. And as we've been talking about, it can go wrong in pretty dramatic and dark ways. So, I think that, again, the promise of this industry is big, and that affects the toy industry as well. But the product that's in front of us right now still needs a lot of polishing.
You just mentioned it, but we're getting close to ChatGPT's birthday. Is that right?
We are it's November 30th, 2022 is when it launched. Okay. So I've been saying it's the birthday week of ChatGPT. But yes, and it's been a very influential couple of years, obviously. It was a pretty modest blog post that launched ChatGPT, the chatbot owned and operated by OpenAI, but it gave rise to this huge frenzy, both on Wall Street and in various industries around the world, and of course presaged dire warnings as well about this technology potentially being used to spread disinformation on the internet, to get rid of jobs, to infringe on copyright, and to allow kids to cheat on their homework assignments, which is another risk as it applies to children when it comes to generative artificial intelligence. Guys, something in talking about this anniversary for ChatGPT that really sticks out to me is that these were questions we were concerned about in 2022. They are still questions we are concerned about in 2025, right? These are not problems that have been fixed in the years of development that these technologies have gone through in the last few years. And I think something that we should probably be keeping an eye on as we head into 2026 is the various legal challenges that OpenAI is facing, both from the New York Times over copyright infringement questions and by the parents of teenagers who unfortunately either harmed themselves or took their own lives after extended conversations with ChatGPT. So these are important questions to answer, and as of right now, the AI industry just doesn't have them.
Thanks, Mike. That was Mike Dobuski, ABC technology reporter. And winter is here, and many kids here in Utah don't have the warm coats and sturdy shoes that they need to get us through the cold months.
KSL's Quarters for Christmas has been helping local children for years, turning your donations into warm coats and shoes for kids right here in our community.
Every dollar you give goes directly toward providing coats and shoes for kids who need them most. It's easy to make a difference. Just go online to kslquarters.com. Donate what you can, and know that you're helping keep a child warm this winter.
And join us in spreading a little comfort and a lot of kindness with KSL's Quarters for Christmas.
That's good news way that you can contribute, and we'll probably talk a little bit more about that later. But there's something I want to talk about here. Iron School District, that's down in Cedar City area, is looking to change their school week to a 4-day school week. I don't know.
I think that's interesting, especially when you start looking at transportation costs. So I wonder if that's part of the calculus there.
And then you have to look at mommy and daddy perhaps working and wondering what they do with the kids on Friday if that's the day off. So I think they're push and shove that goes both ways. We'll talk to a member of the school board district when we come back after this break.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour, the San Juan County Sheriff's Office is scaling back the search for a missing artist, last seen nearly a week ago. The Sheriff's Office says Joseph Pachak was supposed to meet friends at a cafe in Bluff last Tuesday, but never showed up. He was also set to attend 2 different Thanksgiving dinners, but never arrived. The Sheriff's Office says right now foul play is not suspected in his disappearance, but Pachak is described as an avid outdoorsman. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Today is Giving Tuesday, where people are encouraged to give back to their favorite charities. But federal officials with the FTC warn that it's also a day for scammers to take advantage of people looking to do good.
Double check the charity's website link. A lot of those will end in .org. At the bottom of the page, it will say that it is a registered nonprofit. The FTC says that the safest way to make a donation is with a credit card or check. If someone's asking you for cryptocurrency, wire transfer, or gift card, it is probably a scam.
ABC's Elizabeth Schulze reporting. Your money at this moment. The Dow is up 150 right now. That's 0.3%. We're at 47,439. Coming up, a few showers later today. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:01.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Hi, I'm Emily, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where a small box with a burgundy bow will help you win the holidays. As an in-house designer, I love creating meaningful, fine jewelry gifts. Choose a necklace with a gorgeous infinity charm to symbolize your everlasting love. Or go for a personalized piece with an engraving, their zodiac sign, favorite color gemstone, or their initial accented with pave diamonds. Because a friend wants you to be a holiday hero. Stop by or shop now at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cent cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Make game day yours with the Utah Mammoth app. Get your tickets, order food and drinks without leaving your seat, track live stats, and stream every game with Mammoth Plus, all in one place. It's the ultimate game day essential, designed for Mammoth fans. Stay connected to your hometown team and never miss a moment. Download the Utah Mammoth app today on iPhone and Android. Turn on push notifications and make every day game day. Tusks up.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. And back to you, Aubrey.
On I-15, that's moving great all the way from Willard Bay down to Utah Lake. You can expect about a 30-minute drive from Ogden into downtown. And if you are traveling from Draper into downtown, that's about a 20-minute drive there. 215's east and west side belts both moving at freeway speeds. Still seeing a little bit of traffic as you're coming out of Saratoga Springs on 2100 North and Pioneer Crossing, heading over to I-15 right now. Everyday people struggle with mental health challenges, addiction, or homelessness. Volunteers of America Utah provides counseling, recovery programs, and safe housing. Your donations show someone they matter. Visit voaut.org to give today. I'm Aubrey Withrich in the KSL Traffic Center.
We could see some rain turning to snow later today. The daytime high 42, 39 tomorrow, with a few spotty snow showers lingering in the morning. Right now it's 37 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, another Utah school district is weighing the option for a 4-day school week. The Iron County, that's the Cedar City area school district, is considering a move to a 4-day school week. And today, Holly, the board will hold town hall meetings for public comment on what is quickly becoming pretty critical debate.
Well, it's interesting to me that we are having that discussion, and by we, I mean they. but I wonder if our texters have opinions on that. Should Utah as a whole move to a 4-day school week? You can text us at 57500. In the meantime, we have Stephanie Hill on the line. She's with the Iron County School Board. And Stephanie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Holly. Happy to join. Hello, Greg.
Hi. So tell us what's being considered.
Right. Yeah. So a 4-day school week. I would advise you and listeners that we're actually on a 4.5-day schedule at this point. So it's not a tremendous difference from what we're already doing. In fact, our secondary classrooms periods are only about 27 minutes long. We initially brought up the idea. We haven't been able to pass 3 bonds since 2019, and we are running out of options. We've run out of space, and we're running out of options. And so as we consider building, doing a capital project, doing another school, we're going to have to finance that internally. And we're looking for options. So we initially thought of this as a cost-saving measure, but now it's turning into be something else, especially after the board asked for our superintendent, Dr. Lance Hatch, to send out essentially just kind of an informal survey to personnel, district personnel, and to families. We got an overwhelmingly positive response. Over 70% of people who responded. And that, in terms of parents, it was over 2,000, like really in the space of 2 weeks, just the first few days, over 2,000 had responded, overwhelmingly positive. So we started looking at a number of other things, but that's kind of where we sit. One of the, as was already mentioned, we have a town hall tonight to present updated information and also to get community input. At this point, we're gathering information, looking at our options. But for me personally, I'm pretty excited about the opportunities that potentially exist on Fridays. We're not going to simply be stopping. We would potentially be pivoting into other programming. I'd like to see private, nonprofit, public partnerships spring up. At any rate, fire away. Ask some questions.
So I have a question. If you it seems typically when a school district tries to pass a bond, it's for capital projects in order, in other words, to build another school because you're maxing out. How does compressing the school week into 4 days address the issue that a bond would have addressed?
Money. It's going to save us some money. So in terms of, we're in a position right now, we're trying to consider how we can expand our alternative programs. We've been running out of essentially double-wide trailers for the last 20 years with programs that are remarkably successful, but which are really limited in their offerings, the number of students who can afford themselves those opportunities. So what we're doing now is considering budgeting out money for a replacement 9th elementary school. And what this would do is it would contract our expenses in order to allow that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie, I'm reading that the 4-day school week would add 27 minutes to each school day. And Holly and I were doing the math. We couldn't figure it out. But you mentioned it right at the outset. It's already a half day. Is that right? Fridays are a...
Correct. It's already a half day. In fact, with the most recent configuration, and that's going to get presented tonight, there may have been some small changes. The adjustment to the schedule is going to mean, and this is the annual academic calendar, it means that elementary students would be down 7.75 hours. Middle schoolers would actually be up 35.77 hours, and high schoolers would be down 8.22 hours. So, in fact, negligible, except for the middle schoolers, which and I'm not entire. That's right. It goes up significantly, almost 36 hours with that added time to the school day on days 1 through 4. And again, we're already at a half day for a variety of reasons. But
and I know that you're still exploring, and you'll have an opportunity to hear from members of the public tonight. But do you have people who are in opposition to this? And if so, what are they saying about it?
Some, and with valid concerns. Ideally, you want to have subjects covered every day. I'm a 27-year veteran of the high school classroom. I taught English and I taught foreign language Spanish. Especially in foreign language, you want daily contact. Certainly reading. You want kids reading every day. One of the initiatives we've had in the district that was brought forward by Superintendent Hatch is to make sure that in the elementary programs we have students in text 120 minutes a day. So active literacy instruction for 2 hours a day. But that's clearly a concern. You want kids having contact with the material every day. That's a valid concern. One of the things that I like, and again, this entire thing was introduced as a cost-saving measure, is the opportunity that would exist if this were to move forward for public-private partnerships, supplemental and remedial programming that we don't have time during the course of the day, really diversify something. My own father, who's a retired educator, volunteered 3 hours a day in the elementary classrooms doing reading. He'd pull out kids regardless of what was going on, because reading, as you know, is clearly, it's foundational to everything that we do. Superintendent Hatch, I think in response to what he was able to see my father and some other volunteers do, has created what he has identified as a Gen Bridge program with retirees reading one-on-one with kids, really having that integral interpersonal connection through reading. Something like that could flourish on a Friday, along with any other number of programs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. So what you're talking about are programs that could still occur on Friday, but aren't draining resources from the school district. But still give the kids, an outlet, a way to continue their education and not have mom and dad worry about daycare or things like that because the kid's still being educated, but the district and the school teachers are not burdened financially.
They're not on the hook. That's right. My son is on the autism spectrum. When he was getting intensive behavioral intervention, he was, and this was after schools, but it could be done, during a Friday, should we decide to go that route. He was able to get behavioral interventions, socialization interventions through Boys and Girls Club. So you could potentially have behavioral interventionists coming in to more closely monitor kids that are already interacting in that type of social setting that has more loosely structured social and enrichment activities. But you could also move in kids that need some behavioral help. I mean, there are a myriad of possibilities that could come in. What I'd like to see, because school is really one of the last areas where we have an opportunity to not only anchor as culture, but to build culture. And so if we have this, if the opportunity existed for private partnerships to come in with nonprofit monies or grant monies, I've already talked with our state senator, Evan Vickers, about this, who's helped me understand that there are these types of monies available. We just haven't had the time within a regular 5-day week. Because anytime you pull a student out, you're taking them out of curriculum, and we don't want to do that, obviously. But there's, it came as a cost-saving measure, opportunity, possibility. But as we consider where it could go, it's pretty exciting.
Thank you so much.
It's pretty exciting.
Thank you so much for that, Stephanie. Good luck tonight. That was Stephanie Hill from the Iron County School Board talking about moving to a 4-day school week. And speaking of school, math gave me anxiety. Hurricane High is on a mission to help students overcome math anxiety. We're going to learn more straight ahead.
You probably know if you need new windows. You hear the wind whistling. There's condensation between the panes. Maybe your heating bill's too high, but you don't want to pull the trigger because it costs a lot of money. I understand. And they understand at Advanced Window Products. After all, they've been creating custom state-of-the-art windows right here in Salt Lake for 39 years. They know what's up. That's why they offer 60-month 0% financing or buy now, pay later. You get the windows this winter for 30 to 40% less because you're buying straight from the factory. They'll build, they'll install your windows, and you don't have to pay for a year or more. At Advanced, they're committed to making your new windows affordable. And if you call now, they'll knock another $2,500 off your quote. State-of-the-art, energy-saving windows built here for Utah's changing climate. And right now, $2,500 off. Call for a quote, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. Or go to advancedwindows.com.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Holiday magic is here at Cactus and Tropicals, and each store is brimming with festive holiday decor. Meander through the aisles of lush plants amidst twinkling lights, gorgeous containers, unique ornaments, fresh arrangements, and beautiful foliage. You'll find the perfect accent from vibrant poinsettias, amaryllis, Christmas cactus, and other holiday plantings, statement pieces for your home, and expert advice. You'll make your list and check it off twice. Cactus and Tropicals will help you find something incredible, including gifts for everyone on your list. Fresh, live Christmas trees have arrived with wreaths and garlands for immediate purchase or custom orders, not to mention expert design services too. Plant classes make perfect gifts, or simply enjoy carefully curated gift bundles. Lastly, Santa will be on site for photos and festive fun. Cactus and Tropicals, making your home merry and bright. In Salt Lake, Draper, and newest location in Midvale. For holiday hours, orders, and more, visit cactusandtropicals.com.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing New Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals, and it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with New Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Join the KSL Real Estate Show at a special time this Saturday, 7 a.m. before the BYU pregame show. The latest on Wasatch Front real estate. This Saturday morning from 7 to 8.
Every 2 minutes, an American is sexually assaulted. The majority of victims know their attacker. It could be your friend, your neighbor, or someone you met at a party. If you said no, it's rape, and it's a crime. This is Christina Ricci with RAINN. Call the National Sexual Assault Hotline today at 1-800-656-HOPE or visit rainn.org. That's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by RAINN and this station.
An expanded Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
Apparently, Holly, I was one of those people that was spared the
Math
post-traumatic
anxiety.
stress disorder that follows math anxiety in junior high and high school. I actually became sort of a mentor and a teacher, proctor for kids. I don't know what it was about math. I just got it.
Yeah.
I still do, even though I don't. I'm a lawyer. I don't have anything to do with math in my daily life now.
Yeah, I was one of the ones where it can be intimidating, right? And, I know there can be a gender divide as well, but it's intimidating to me, too, when my 6th grader comes home and shows me her math, and I don't think I can do it without
Right.
having to review what I need to do with math. So there's I'm probably not alone. One Utah high school, Hurricane High in southern Utah, is helping math students break through those fears. And I was interested in seeing this article by Jason Swenson of the Deseret News, and he joins us on the line today. Thanks for writing this, Jason.
You're welcome, guys. And Greg, I will say my math experience was not yours. I was one of those counted among those suffering from math anxiety. And it's a condition that follows me still. And I know, and having had kids and homework myself, Holly, I know that sort of anxiousness when they say, "Can you help me out with my with some of my math homework?" So I get this. So this is one of those stories that hit kind of a personal nerve.
Well, let's just start at the base of the problem. How big is a problem of math anxiety?
Well, as I had reported in an earlier story this year, there was a study that was done of Americans across the country of all different ages that revealed that while the vast majority of adults living in the United States agree and strongly believe that math skills are essential, more than a third reported having negative feelings about math, including those who had been out of a classroom for decades. And so it's certainly kind of an interesting dilemma, right, that people understand how important math is, and at the same time, so many people fear math.
Okay, so I'm old school, Jason, and when I went to school, we didn't have calculators. We didn't have smartphones.
You might have had a slide rule.
I had a slide ruler, and I carried it in my pocket like the nerds do. And so I think part of the problem is that once we started getting these, Hewlett-Packard calculators that could do everything, some people got the idea, why do I have to learn math? I can just push the buttons here. But that's not that easy, is it?
No, absolutely not. And for those of us who, grew up with an abacus in our bedroom, it's even more challenging. But you're right. That calculator certainly has its limits.
So tell us, what is Hurricane High doing?
Well, the principal at Hurricane. He actually reached out to me after seeing my story about this challenge of math anxiety that we see happening around the country, and said, you need to be aware of what we're doing in our school, a school that's no different than almost any other school in the state, where you have students who excel and love math and others who struggle. And the principal reported to me that over the past couple of years, his math department, the members of the faculty, which is made up largely, Holly, of veteran teachers, men and women who have been in the classroom for, in some cases, over 3 decades, but who have been concerned about, what it would be the best way to make sure that each student graduates from Hurricane High with not only a basic aptitude and proficiency in math, but also not afflicted with math anxiety. And the Principal McKeon, reached out to me and said that over the past few years, the faculty has been incorporating what's called the Building Thinking Classrooms teaching approach in their math classes that really place emphasis on collaboration and ways to teach real-world problem solving, perseverance, risk-taking, things that maybe we don't associate with a traditional math class where you have a teacher in front of 25 or 30 kids sitting at desks with their textbooks and notes in front of him as the teacher lectures on a chalkboard and then assigns that day's homeworks and prepares for Friday's test.
Jason, do we know if there are any sort of evidence-based findings or studies, whether other groups or school districts have tried this before?
Well, certainly the word's gotten out among a number of Utah schools and other neighboring districts of the success and the anecdotal response that they're seeing out of Hurricane High. And so Principal McKeon and one of the math teachers there reported to me that other schools are reaching out and even saying, hey, can we come in and observe? Can you share with you what we're finding? And so clearly, at least in Utah, there seem to be a number of schools, districts, and principals and teachers who seem open to this, even though others might call it, non-traditional and maybe a bit leery of it initially.
I know you say in your article that there was no more zombie copying, and I guess that's what I remember from my time in school, where teachers write on the board and the students copy, but that doesn't mean I understood how to do the problem, right? So what are they doing that's different than just sitting at their desk and copying work from the blackboard?
Well, I think the primary thing that's happening, Holly, is the way that they're interacting and collaborating. Meaning, if you saw some of the photos that were attached to the story and different things, it sounds like very little time's actually spent at their desk. Rather, their 80-minute where they have their block schedule for their math classes are in fact stretched around, students stretched around the whiteboards and working together in groups of 2 and 3, with the teacher always there to be able to answer questions and continue to encourage this sort of collaboration. But it sounds like the biggest difference is simply the students are up, they're interacting with one another, they're collaborating, and as the principal explained to me, they're learning how to solve problems rather than just simply solve a math equation. And so solving math equations, once I've mastered or how to solve a problem, solving those math equations just becomes second nature because my mind is now trained for more, in a problem-solving phase. So it's really those sort of collaborative type efforts that really step away from zombie copying and encourage engagement and, that sort of problem solving. And as I mentioned in the story too, one of the benefits of this program has also just been increased socialization with the students, whether they, regardless of what sort of math class they're in, it could be an AP math class, it could be an algebra class or maybe more basic course, but it's allowed students to set down their device, take out their ear pods, and actually engage with one another as they utilize some of these problem-solving skills that they're learning.
That was Jason Swenson from the Deseret News. And Jason, next time you're in the studio, bring your abacus. I'm going to show you how to work it. I still have.
I don't go anywhere without it, Greg.
Maybe you can show me.
Very good. Yeah.
You know, that is a problem, and I appreciate his comments, and I hope that this works well. I hope that Hurricane does some study, and we didn't get into the whole gender-based differences because there have been some times in the past when some females were not being pushed into the STEM programs as much as they could have been. I don't know that that's still a problem anymore, but it sounds like Hurricane's
it is, and I think if I remember the numbers, it's not just a split of being pushed into STEM. It's the internalization that I can't do math, and that's happening by the time girls hit third grade, I think, if I remember that correctly. So, so that's the thing. So it was just super interesting to me, and I'm glad we had a chance to talk about that.
I'm glad you had a chance to go to a meeting yesterday. After our show ended, you were rushing up to the Capitol and telling me a little bit about what was going on. I don't want to spoil it, but you actually wrote an article about it. You attended this event. It sounds like it was incredible. I want you to talk about that after the break.
All right.
10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour. The BYU football team is trying to block out the news surrounding Penn State trying to poach their head coach Kalani Sitake as they prepare for the Big 12 championship game against Texas Tech Saturday morning. And there is good news if you're a fan still looking to book a flight to Texas to attend the game. Breeze Airlines has added extra direct flights from Provo Airport this weekend to Dallas.
And we're just excited to support the traffic for the game, support our guests, and give them a really nice, convenient, and affordable option to get to the game and celebrate. We hope they do well, obviously.
McKinley Matson with Breeze Airlines says typically they only offer one flight to Dallas on Mondays and Fridays. This weekend, those flights are full, so they added the additional flights. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Voters are hitting the polls in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District right now for a special election.
For Republicans, they really need to stop the bleeding and show that the president and the Republican Party in this moment still has some political muscle and the ability to turn out this coalition that propelled Trump to victory in 2024 and helped Republicans win the popular vote. These voters are not showing up when President Donald Trump is not on the ballot. They need to find a way to fix that.
ABC political director Ben Siegel reporting. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 259 right now. That's 0.5%. We're at 47,549. Coming up, a small storm is moving in tonight. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:32. Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
At Intermountain Health, we believe life is a circle. May yours surround you with insight, a healthy perspective, trust, and reassurance. The belief that our differences aren't that different, and compassion just when you need it most. Life is a circle. May yours help you live the healthiest life possible. Intermountain Health.
Black Friday deals are back at Scandinavian Designs. For a limited time, discover incredible savings on Nordic-inspired furniture and decor for every space in your home. From statement pieces for your living room to instant upgrades for the dining room, bedroom, and more. It's the perfect time to refresh your favorite space or reimagine your entire home. Scandinavian Designs. We make it simple. You make it home. Stop by your local showroom today or shop online at ScandinavianDesigns.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
You know, most diets will help you lose a few pounds, but Soda weight loss will help you lose years. I lost 37 pounds on the Soda weight loss program 3 years ago, and I feel younger than I've felt in decades. And it's not because of how I look, it's because of how I feel.
But you do look younger,
Thank
too.
you.
I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months, and then I looked at the before and after pictures of myself and was like, wow.
It's something when you don't have to carry all of that excess weight around. And I was at a stage in my life where I didn't want to add drugs to my regimen. I wanted to reduce the number of medications I had to take. So the nutritionist at Soda Weight Loss taught me how to have a healthy relationship with food.
And it was so helpful that I could text my nutritionist anytime I wanted to for advice, which helped me learn what I needed to know so that I could keep it off. And right now, this is the perfect time to join, because if you join now, your partner joins for free. It's the perfect gift for both of you.
It's at Soda Weight Loss.
SOTAweightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. And back to you, Aubrey.
Well, things are looking really good out there if you're traveling on I-15. No delays from Ogden all the way into downtown Salt Lake City, or on the flip side from Utah County into Salt Lake City. If you are coming out of Tooele County right now on the 201 freeway, I am seeing a little bit of slowing if you're traveling through Magna right now, eastbound through there, just mostly around the stoplights. And then once you get up to 215, that looks good. 215's east and west side belts both moving at good speeds. Still a little bit of traffic as you're coming out of Saratoga Springs on 2100 North and Pioneer Crossing, probably just in that construction zone through there. Renew your smile with Grandpa's Dental. Grandpa's Dental offers cosmetic and routine dentistry. Visit grandpasdental.com for a location near you. That's grandpasdental.com. I'm Aubrey Withrich in the KSL Traffic Center.
We'll have a high today of 42 degrees. We do have some rain turning to snow later today. Tomorrow, 39 with a few light snow showers sticking around in the morning. Right now, we might have some flurries already. 39 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
I'm continually amazed by my co-host. Yesterday we had a show, a full show.
We did.
let out. I even said you could leave a little early. No, I'm not going to leave early. I'm not going to go. But you bolt up to the Capitol right after our show, attend an event. It sounds like an incredible event. And then you write an article about it. I get here this morning and you've written an article about the event. So tell us about it.
So this was the Martha Hughes Cannon Awards, and they're awards given out by Utah Women Run, which is a nonpartisan group that's housed underneath the Hinckley Institute of Politics up on the University of Utah campus. And I've been on their board. I was their chair for 1 year, actually. And this was an opportunity. This is, I think, the third year that they've done Martha Hughes Cannon Awards, and really in recognition of the first female senator ever elected in the nation, and she was right here in Utah. And so it's recognizing women in politics in Utah and the difference that they're making. And so yesterday, one of the new awards this year was a legacy award, and it was given to the former and late Mia Love, who passed away in March of this year. And Lieutenant Governor Henderson, Deidre Henderson, spoke about her friend Mia and presented the award to her husband Jason. And anyway, it was really a great event. And my friend and former colleague and all around great person Becky Edwards is on the line with us, and she's the chair of Utah Women Run this year. Becky, thanks for joining us.
Oh, happy to do so.
What can you tell us about these awards that were given out yesterday, besides what I just barely teased?
You know, I think this is a third year, and I think these awards originated with the intent that we shine a light on some of the work that's being done. You know, we have some amount of press that comes our way with the Wallet Hub report and things ranking Utah and all of this. But in many ways, it's nice to have a time when we applaud, recognize, and celebrate the efforts of so many women who are making a difference within their parties, within advocacy and local government. And then to add this legacy award honoring Mia Love this year was just incredibly special.
And in that regard, Becky, both Mia Love and Martha Hughes Cannon were trailblazers. I mean, these were people who were firsts in things that they were doing, and maybe some people might be surprised that they came from Utah.
I think that's true. There is a real legacy here of starting with Martha Hughes Cannon and many women of that era who kind of laid the foundation for other firsts, like Congresswoman Love, who started out, of course, as her husband mentioned, with her kids, her young kids, babies in the stroller, walking around her neighborhood and her community there in Saratoga Springs, advocating for an issue that mattered to her. And that's how we saw so many of these women who were honored yesterday got their beginnings as well, is working on local issues that mattered to them. And so on the one hand, these are really remarkable women that are so inspiring and really make a difference, but their origin stories are so relatable to everyday women who are doing this kind of work with the strollers and the babies and the PTA and really getting their leadership skills in all of the experiences that they're having in different phases of their life. And then for many, turning that into elected office. And that was really kind of a common arc that we saw all the way from Mia Love to Candace Pierucci to Leanne Wood, who was honored for local advocacy, and and others as well yesterday. And I just think that makes the story so much more impactful, that it's attainable, because for so many women in Utah right now, these kinds of things are exactly what they're doing with their lives.
You know, Becky, I think for a lot of women, it's really intimidating to think I can go from this, pushing a baby in a stroller. And in Mia's case, she cared about little midges that were coming, little flying insects that were coming off Utah Lake. And I started because I cared about a midwife issue, and it kind of compelled me to get off my couch, so to speak, and get running and working. And I'm wondering, what is the message that you would give to women who are in the earlier stages of saying, I care, but I don't really think I can make much of a difference?
I would, and I do actually say this a lot to women, especially young women, or even women of older ages who are just starting to get involved, is your voice actually does make an incredible difference. And I say that as someone who's been an elected official and relied on lived experiences of other women and individuals in the community to share why disability rights matters to them, or homelessness matters to them, or, affordability issues. Women are bright. They're in the weeds of everything that our state officials are talking about right now. And to find an issue or a candidate or something that you care about, and just putting in your effort, however small it may feel, is so powerful. And when combined with others, bring a friend with you and join that rally. Bring a friend with you and take your kids out and, advocate for something. And I think that's one of the reasons why yesterday's stories were so powerful, is that they are attainable by every person in the state.
Becky, where are we right now in Utah with respect to women in both running and in serving in politics? I'm just looking at reading this article here. I mean, Deidre Henderson, our lieutenant governor's there. I know that one of our legislators, obviously Celeste Malloy from House Representative, is a female. Our two largest municipality mayors. The Salt Lake City and Salt Lake County mayor positions are both held by women. Are we in a good position right now, Becky, or is and if I said is there room for improvement, you're going to say yes, obviously, but are we where we should be right now?
You know, I don't know if we're where we should be, but in many ways we're better than we've ever been before, especially in the areas of city council and mayoral races. When we look at those positions across the state, the number of women who ran in this 2025 election season is higher than ever before, and the number of women who won is higher than ever before. And if you look especially at some of our largest cities, all the way down to small cities as well, we have women who are running and winning and serving and realizing that they really, really enjoy it. And in many cases, their places, they love that local government and they stay there. And for others, they think, I want to actually run for and represent a larger number of people and look at state government and the legislative seats. But I think groups like Utah Women Run and others, Women's Leadership Institute, and other organizations that really are focused on helping women recognize their leadership skills and kind of navigate what is challenging and feels kind of confusing and I don't know, just hard. Anything's hard for the first time you do it, and same with running for office. And I think that's one of the reasons why these organizations really matter. But I think it's a great time for women to run for office. Some of our, of course, there's always an opportunity to be better. And yesterday I was introducing Deidre Henderson, who was going to be presenting the award to the Love family. And I said she was only the third statewide woman. She was only the third woman elected to a statewide position in the history of the state. And when she got up, she said, I want to correct you. There are actually 4 of us now. And, this is with the election of Tina Cannon as state auditor. But there's some positions that still are very difficult to crack. And I think those are our federal offices and statewide. But boy, are we doing a great job local and municipal elections, and we should celebrate that. And I feel very optimistic about the future of women in politics.
Likewise. Thanks, Becky. That was Becky Edwards, chair of the Utah Women Run. And wouldn't it be nice, Holly, if instead of, hey, we need a Republican for this seat or we need a Democrat for this seat, we've sort of said, we need a woman for this seat. But maybe that's in the future. Well, a welfare check in Provo sent hundreds of people flocking from the police after they found an illegal backyard cockfighting ring with more than 300 live birds and more than 50 dead roosters. We'll talk about that next.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. The other night with my wife, Dee, we saw Frozen at Hale Center Theater, and it was delightful. I have a little confession. You know the song, Let It Go? My little granddaughters sing that so much that I'm afraid I haven't fully appreciated it until I saw it performed at Hale Center Theater. The artistry of the presentation and the staging brought that song to life for me. I have become a true believer. And the puppetry at Hale Center Theater, when they bring Sven out and when they have Olaf, you are going to love it. And don't forget, they have special presentations of Frozen where you can bring the younger kids. We've already got that booked for our family. It's Frozen on the stage right now at Hale Center Theater. And of course, you've got to make sure you get your tickets for A Christmas Carol. It always sells out. And by the way, Frozen is selling out very, very fast. Go to hct.org and lock down those tickets. Get season tickets for the holidays and so much more. hct.org.
You trust us for news and information in your car. Now trust us at home. KSL News Radio has you covered, keeping you informed on the latest breaking news, weather, traffic, sports, and more. Listen on your Amazon Echo or Google Home device. Just say, Alexa, open KSL News Radio. Or listen on the KSL News Radio Listen app. Text the word app to 57500. KSL News Radio. We have you covered.
Step into the magic of holiday lights at the ballpark at America First Square. Get tickets at theballpark@afs.com. Make this season unforgettable. Holiday lights at the ballpark.
When it comes to your electrical system, do you know the warning signs to look for? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and it's okay if you don't know, but here are a few things that you might not even realize could be a sign of a bigger problem. Wall plates that are hot to the touch, discoloration around switches or outlets, if you hear crackling or popping or buzzing around switches or outlets, a breaker that trips a lot, switches that feel loose when you operate them, if your lights dim or flicker when a major appliance comes on, if your plugs fall out of the wall easily. You know, you're not supposed to have to bend the prongs out on a plug just to get it to stay in the wall. If you notice any of these things, you should consider having a licensed electrician check your system out. If you don't know anyone, Any Hour Services has put together a radio-only special for any homeowners listening. One of our licensed electricians will perform a comprehensive electrical inspection and give you a full written report for only $29. But you have to mention this ad when you call. To schedule your comprehensive electrical inspection by a licensed electrician for only $29, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7300. That's 801-443-7300. Any Hour Services.
I think winter is here. Many kids here in Utah don't have the warm coats and sturdy shoes that they need to get through these cold months.
Well, KSL's Quarters for Christmas has been helping local children for years, turning your donations into warm coats and shoes for kids right here in our community.
Every dollar you give goes directly toward providing coats and shoes for kids who need them the most. It's easy to make a difference. Just go online to kslquarters.com. Donate what you can and know that you're helping keep a child warm this winter.
And it's really cold outside, so join us in spreading a little comfort and a lot of kindness with KSL's Quarters for Christmas.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Imagine all that could happen in 5 years. Jobs may change, kids grow, new memes will come out. But also, what if you had reliable, intelligent Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Thanks to the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, you actually don't have to worry about that part of your future. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to your devices that need the most, that finds and fixes any issues before you even notice them. It's like a super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from threats online. Plus, you get incredible gaming speeds on multiple devices with no one battling for bandwidth. For the next 5 years, all your devices will be working in perfect harmony, and you get their best equipment with no annual contracts, no fees, no strings. So even though your kids will grow up and you still won't understand 6-7, your internet will stay sharp, reliable, and most important, the price will stay put. All with the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Select plans only.
Mr. Mac, suiting for every important chapter of your life. Weddings, proms, new job, any celebration, mission callings, and more. Mr. Mac's there to suit your needs with 9 locations or MrMac.com.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
Recently, a routine welfare check in Provo sent hundreds of people running from the police after they found an illegal backyard cockfighting ring with more than 300 live birds and 50 dead roosters. Officers showed up to see if someone was living at this house, seeing what was going on, and when they did, people just took off running in all different directions. To help us walk through this and find out what police actually found, here's KSL News Radio's Cam Elliott.
More than 50 dead animals were found in a backyard shed in Provo after detectives entered a property on 600 South. The detectives initially came to the house to do a wellness check, but found a large congregation of people entering and exiting a shed while flying a drone over the yard. Authorities say over 100 people fled the scene. Authorities say a number of trophies, seemingly related to the illegal rooster fighting gambling practice, were also found in the shed.
Yeah, and I don't think people realize this. I do because I've been in the business for 40-some years, that this happens more than you think, Holly. I've personally been involved in representing people involved in these chicken fighting situations from all over the state. They're popular in the sense that it's I don't know, people raise their animals for this very purpose, and they can get spurs that they put on them. They can get almost like little knives they put on them, and they can actually give them some medication to make them more hostile, more angry.
That's sad to me.
No, it's terribly sad.
It's sad, and I'm actually really surprised, honestly, that there was an operation like this in Provo, Utah, and to start off with a welfare check, and then you see more than 100 people running away from a backyard shed. I mean, that's something.
Yeah, at KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera spoke with a former FBI agent, Greg Rogers, who actually has come across rings like this during his undercover work, not just roosters, but pit bulls and other fighting operations involving animals.
It's sadly not uncommon, and it's brutal. I mean, you saw all the number of dead roosters. I mean, when you're cockfighting, it's not like a boxing match. The animal wins by killing the other animal. And they're adorned with razors. They're not using just their normal claws. There's razors and things put on their legs that are designed to be lethal. So these are brutal things to watch, but there's a whole lot of money involved in the gambling around cockfighting.
And that's the lure of it, Holly.
Is the gambling?
I don't know that it's all that exciting to watch animals kill each other. In fact, it would seem horrible, but it's a gambling operation. People go there, they spend a lot. That's why there were 100 people there. There was a lot of money being exchanged. I have no doubt in my mind. And Utah actually has a law, game foul fighting. We define, because you would think, well, animal abuse, cruelty to animals, and gambling are crimes all by themselves. You don't need to sort of subdefine it. But we have a law, game foul fighting, that makes using or promoting or producing staging events that involve game foul fighting, where they attack another animal for the purpose of entertainment or sport, is a crime, and it's a fairly serious crime. And it gets more and more serious if you have other charges. If you've got second or third conviction, it could be a felony,
like drug dealing, for example.
Exactly, right.
Yeah. So Greg Rogers also explained that there can be drug dealing, etc.
They're careful who they invite. They have to know, who's coming to the matches. I infiltrated several of these types of organizations as an undercover, but it was always through a narcotics case. So I'd be buying large amounts of narcotics from somebody that was into cockfighting or pit bull fighting, and they'd invite me and take me, to one of the events. So I got in based on their credibility. You can't just show up and walk into one of these matches.
No, it's by invitation only, and you have to have some money. You have to have something else going on, and it's also really hard, Holly, to flush these out. I mean, this sounds like it was almost a fluke, but sometimes these criminals slip up in ways trying to set up a deal. They get themselves in trouble, and Rogers explained that as well.
More often than not, what happens is someone gets arrested for some offense, like, they get a DUI, or they get caught with a small amount of narcotics. So they say to the investigating officer, hey, I know about this huge cockfighting ring or this pit bull fighting ring, and they try to cut a deal.
And that's how these things get caught, unfortunately. And you get there, and it had to be heartbreaking for these officers to go and see 50 dead animals.
I can't imagine. I cry when in the Bambi movie, right? I mean, I'm such a softie. I'm surprised I'm not a vegetarian, actually, sometimes. But tell me this. So 17 people were arrested, but there were well over 100 people. Are these just the people who were slower, or how did we end up with 17?
I mean, when they hit this building, 100 people ran.
Yeah.
And they caught the 17 that
we're slower?
There were only so many officers there to chase people down. And so they were actually, a couple of people were stopped in vehicles. So as a group of 5 got in one car, boom, the officers went and stopped that car. A couple of those happened. But they were just literally, I mean, somebody's the caretaker of the property. There were probably some individuals that were more involved than others. But if you're just there gambling and using drugs and you see the police arrive, what surprised me is that part of what was happening here was drones had covered it.
Yeah.
Drones. I mean, if you're watching one of these events and a drone's flying overhead, goodbye.
I know.
I'm surprised that I'm not surprised that out of 100, only 17 were caught because, and I'm not saying there's anything good about that, or I don't to make light of it, because the 17 that were caught are probably going to do what you talked about a minute ago, and that is tell people who else might be involved and try to help themselves. So Greg Rogers mentioned that as well. Help your own situation out by telling other people who are involved. But what police want to do and prosecutors want to do in cases like this, Holly, is find out who the ringleader was, who's really organizing this, who's making the money, where this is coming from, because these can be fairly serious crimes. And let's say you have 50 dead animals. That's 50.
Well, you have 300 live ones.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot.
That's 50 crimes. You know what I mean? Every time there's a dead animal, that's a different offense. So these could be fairly serious. And again, this one gets shut down. I can guarantee you there's another one going tomorrow.
Yeah.
They happen more than you think.
There's got to be zoning violations too, because there's no zoning in Utah, I don't think, unless you're totally agricultural, that would allow for 350 animals, 350 chickens on one little
another crime
property.
Violation, probably not the most serious one. After the shooting of 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C. last week, the Trump administration has paused all amnesty applications from Afghan nationals and is talking about a complete immigration ban. We'll talk with an immigration attorney about the impacts of these moves when we come back.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Heather Peterson. KSL's top story this hour, Rocky Mountain Power has submitted a request to raise their prices by another 4.5% in Utah, just months after a similar rate hike was approved. The company says it would be used to fund their new wildfire liability insurance fund. The Utah Public Service Commission will have the final say on whether this price hike can happen. The price of gas has been dropping over the last few weeks, even during the holiday weekend.
Just last week, the national gas average price was at $3.10. Now this week, it's down by 11 cents. According to AAA, the overall demand for gas has been down, helping drivers at the pump. Here in Utah, we're nearly 10 cents below what prices were a week ago.
KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reporting. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. White House Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is meeting with President Vladimir Putin today about a revised peace proposal that eliminates many of the points that favor Russia. More from ABC's Ian Pinnell.
Remember, it was initially criticized for being full of Russian talking points, and Witkoff himself also criticized for appearing to be coaching a senior Russian aide to Putin on how best to deal with Trump. But today, I think we should know if Putin's ready to make any concessions on his maximalist demands and end the war in Ukraine.
Ukraine has been adamant they don't want to relinquish territory as part of any peace deal. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 107 points, the S&P up 5, and the NASDAQ is up 96. Coming up, snow could impact your evening commute. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:01.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
The holidays are just around the corner, and Western Nut Company is here to make your gifting a breeze. From our beautiful gift baskets and nut boxes to our famous in-house fudge and brittle, we've got treats for every taste bud, crafted with the highest quality ingredients. Corporate gifting, that's our specialty. Just send us your list and we'll handle the rest. Beautifully packed, shipped with care, and guaranteed to impress. Calling all office managers or executive assistants. Call Western Nut now and let us make your holidays a little less nuts. But we actually do want you to eat more nuts. For 60 years, Western Nut has been a proud Utah tradition. Stop by our downtown shop for unique gifts, glittering ornaments, festive decor, and so much more. Western Nut Company, more than just the best gifts in Utah. We're a holiday tradition, in store or online at westernut.com, where quality meets tradition, and every gift is packed with love.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Michelle Rowe.
Overall, looking pretty quiet out there, but we do have a crash in Ogden. It's blocking the intersection of Washington Boulevard and Riverdale Road. Crews are working on getting this crash cleared, but you will have a little bit of a diversion as you get through that area. Step aboard history, walk through recreation, see real artifacts, and feel the legacy of Titanic. The exhibition, now open at the Shops at Southtown in Sandy. Tickets at thetitanicexhibition.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
A high of 42 today with the possibility of rain and maybe even snow during the afternoon commute. Tomorrow that clears up. The temperature will take a dip down to 39, then mostly sunny and 38 on Wednesday. Right now it's 39 degrees and scattered snow and rain showers throughout the area. I'm Heather Peterson from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, the Trump administration announced on Friday that it is pausing all asylum decisions following the shooting of 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C. earlier this week. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem explained.
Stop all asylum, to stop all processes that bring people into this country until we ensure that we know who these people are.
And this is a result, Holly, of the Afghan asylum seeker who had worked with U.S. forces in Afghanistan. He had worked there. He was granted asylum in April after the
under the Trump administration.
Right.
Yep.
Trump administration, Biden administration, and he went ballistic. Who knows what happened to him? Shot 2 National Guard members last week in Washington, D.C. One of those, a 20-year-old National Guard member, died. The other one's in critical condition. I think the asylum seeker himself was hospitalized for some while. But to help us sort of understand that and what he's facing, here's KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera.
For Utah's Afghan families, this policy shift could mean more separation and more danger. U.S. Army veteran Matt Zeller, who served alongside Afghan interpreters, says the pause threatens people who trusted the U.S. to protect them.
The Taliban have death squads. They're still actively hunting the Afghans who served alongside us. We are the only country on the planet that provides these people at this point with any type of lifeline. So this pause is going to get countless people killed.
Zeller says using one tragic shooting to define an entire population ignores the thousands who saved American lives, including his own interpreter who once stopped Taliban fighters from killing him. He warns the review could discourage future allies from helping American troops overseas. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Go ahead.
Well, that pause in amnesty, right, is saying so people who are already in process and they're here in the country, we know that as the Taliban was taking over in Afghanistan, people who had helped American troops were brought to the United States on a temporary parole, and then they're in process, just like the person who ended up being the shooter in Washington, D.C. He came here under that same program and was granted asylum, and now there's a pause on those cases, but there's also even some discussion about maybe revoking asylum, which is really a concern.
Let's get to an expert, Adam Craik, Utah immigration attorney, is with us. Adam, thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, happy to be here.
And Adam, your head has to be spinning right now in terms of the last 6 months. But let's talk about this specific issue and help us understand what the amnesty process works, how applications mean, and what this could mean going forward for people who are here and have maybe even received amnesty already.
So many people were loaded onto airplanes and flown out of Afghanistan because of the threats that they were facing, and lots of good people were left behind. And honestly, what ended up happening is those that arrived, some of them were given amnesty, some of them refugee status, which allowed them to transition quickly into a green card holder. Others, however, were not, and they were required to file asylum applications, just like this individual who did the shooting in Washington, D.C. So what that individual had to prove was that he was subject to persecution, torture, and or other types of nefarious behavior at the hands of the Taliban or what was perceived as the Afghani government at that time, based on his race, religion, national origin, political opinion, or membership in a particular social group. And that was vetted by an immigration judge just in April, saying that, yes, he had been subjected to all that type of cruelty. And immigration judges don't have the ability to vet mental health at that time either. So it's kind of a rough position they find themselves in because, if you establish your case, you're not really being considered, your mental health is not being looked at, your proclivity to do something like this gentleman did.
I mean, I wonder too if that's a little bit hard to vet, but how is this impacting, as far as you can tell, the immigration community, people who are already here in the United States?
Oh, I can't even tell you how many texts and phone calls, people who have been residents for years and years and years, who have lived here for the last 20, 25 years, saying, are they really going to revoke my green card? So are they going to go back and revoke my green card, and then which that means that I'm no longer a citizen? I think that there's a lot of these bold-faced statements get made without actually verifying whether or not they could actually be done constitutionally. Once due process has been extended, you're going to have to give due process to take away which due process originally received or was awarded.
And if you're dealing with the amnesty community, is there a chance, Adam? Well, I guess there's a chance of anything, but could the administration? I know we're talking about can and should. Are they able? Do they have the authority? Let's say they just focus on Afghani amnesty applicants. Do you think there's any chance that could fly?
Well, I think it's not that it won't fly. They'll do it, and then just like in the past, what we've had to do is take that decision into federal court, and then take it out of the hands of the Department of Homeland Security, and put it in the hands of the federal judiciary. And typically, what the federal judiciary is saying is this won't fly. You can't just target one group of people, and you can't paint with such a broad brush. I mean, yesterday this morning, we were supposed to go to United States Citizenship and Immigration Services for an interview of a couple who are married, a citizen wife, Afghan individual who came in as a refugee, and they canceled his interview. They're not allowing him to even conduct the interview today.
I wouldn't be surprised
because of this rollback.
Yeah.
That's concerning.
You may have been uncomfortable doing the interview yourself for fear that your client might get hooked up.
Correct.
That's concerning. So, it's concerning to me, too. I see Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem yesterday said that she recommended a full travel ban on, quote, every darn country. That's not a quote. That's been flooding our nation with killers, leeches, and entitlement junkies. I mean, first of all, it's super offensive. But second of all, it feels like there's already an immigration ban except for Afrikaners coming from South Africa.
Yeah, you've hit the nail right on the head. And to define people as leeches and entitlement seekers is so offensive because in the first place, we have for the first time in so long where I deal with a lot of my clients who now have full welding staff because they have Venezuelans who have high welding skills who worked in the Venezuelan oil fields. For the first time in so long, we actually have lots of employers who have skilled laborers that they haven't had for a long time. So, I mean, it's really offensive to call people leeches, entitlement seekers, when they're really, in all candor, not really allowed to seek and or receive a lot of the benefits that she's claiming that they receive.
Adam, you probably appear in immigration court and before immigration judges as much and as often as any lawyer in Utah. What's the mood there now? What's the feeling like? Because I know those judges, and you and I have both met them, these immigration judges. They work so hard and it's not a very thanked job. But what's it like now in those courts?
Oh, man. So in all candor, Greg, the new immigration court is federal court. We have filed 300 habeas corpus petitions across the United States, and we're 290 wins to 10 losses. Tell me in a time in your life you can remember a record like that in federal court won by the respondent or the petitioners who are in custody.
Yeah, never. You're right.
Never. So these immigration judges, because of this case that came out on September 5th, where nobody is allowed to have bond if they came in unlawfully, right? So an unlawful entrant who came in 30 years ago, they're not allowed to get a bond. So our jails are just overcrowding. And if you look at the statistics right now, I think it's around 85% was the last check, have no criminal history. And so these immigration judges are sitting there going, I am literally taking away what has normally been granted, what has normally been done for so long. And now if I do anything that's out of step or appears to not be complying with this mass deportation agenda, I just get fired.
Yeah.
So it's miserable. It is miserable.
Well, thank you for being in the arena, Adam.
He's one of the best. It really is.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's really rough. And, we've been talking about national refugee policy, but I want to talk about what happens here in Utah. We have a large refugee population here in Utah. Joining us next will be Amy Hermer. She's the executive director of the Utah Refugee Connection. And I wanted to learn more about the refugees and the needs that they have here in Utah. I know some of them are scared. They are. And I think they have reason to be. So stay with us over the break.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Most diets will help you lose a few pounds, but Soda Weight Loss will help you lose years. I lost 37 pounds on the Soda Weight Loss program 3 years ago, and I feel younger than I've felt in decades. And it's not because of how I look, it's because of how I feel.
But you do look younger,
Thank
too.
you.
I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months, and then I looked at the before and after pictures of myself and was like, wow.
It's something when you don't have to carry all of that excess weight around. And I was at a stage in my life where I didn't want to add drugs to my regimen. I wanted to reduce the number of medications I had to take. So the nutritionist at Soda Weight Loss taught me how to have a healthy relationship with food.
And it was so helpful that I could text my nutritionist anytime I wanted to for advice, which helped me learn what I needed to know so that I could keep it off. And right now, this is the perfect time to join, because if you join now, your partner joins for free. It's the perfect gift for both of you.
It's at Soda Weight Loss.
SOTAweightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
Are you within 3 years of filing for Social Security? You've heard about delaying your benefits to get a bigger benefits check, right? But guess what? That could be a huge mistake. When you consider your taxes, Medicare premiums, and other benefits, you could potentially get more income by filing early. Find out the precise timing that could get you the most money possible with a free, customized Social Security analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. Don't leave one dime on the table that's rightfully yours. Schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. That's 801-896-9622.
Boss Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the Social Security Administration.
When I asked Scott Lucky if his last name had anything to do with his success in the trucking industry, he laughed and said, "Well, Mike, I guess you could say I've always been Lucky? But when I asked him how he and his family grew Lucky Distribution Services into the company it is today, he didn't talk about luck at all. We work hard, he said. We keep a close eye on the bottom line, and we treat our people the right way. In other words, Scott Lucky makes his own luck, which is precisely why he switched to Pure Talk Business. Last month, I paid the big guys $740 for 12 lines, he told me. This month, I paid Pure Talk $420 for the exact same service. Thousands of businesses all over the country are saving real money by switching to America's most dependable 5G network, and luck has nothing to do with it. Just dial pound 250 and say micro. That's pound 250 micro to switch to a wireless company that works as hard as you do. Pure Talk.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Matthew.
Huh? Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I just need you to listen to me.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
All the talks we've had over the years, including what you've told me about not using alcohol and other drugs, they stick with me. And believe it or not, they really do make a difference, especially at times that matter most.
Hey, want a drink?
No thanks, I'm good. So thank you, Dad, for talking and preparing me for what's ahead.
Thanks, Mom, for never giving up and always being my biggest fan.
Thank you for letting me know what you expect, so I can try to meet your expectations.
Thank you for talking.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
The new Inside Sources.
We've been talking about national refugee policy following the shooting of 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C. last week, because the suspect is an Afghan asylee. Actually, he had asylum granted to him in April. And President Trump is now vowing an immigration crackdown following that shooting, saying the attack, quote, underscores the greatest national security threat facing our nation. But really, I want to really bring it home and talk about the refugee population here in Utah. So we have with us on the line Amy Harmer. She's the executive director of the Utah Refugee Connection. Thanks for joining us this morning, Amy.
Hello, how are you, Holly?
So good. So good. I'm wondering, the first question, are you concerned about the impact that this type of tragedy, but also the new-ish federal talking points and how it'll impact Utah's refugee community?
You know, that's a very interesting question. On Thanksgiving, I got a sweet message from a refugee friend who's a mother and a business owner and has been through the refugee process herself. And she talked about how heartbroken she was about what had happened and expressed sadness about these individuals being shot. But she was careful to say that she feels a little targeted, that, you know, this isn't representative of her or her values, and that, you know, she's already been through so much to be fully vetted and welcomed to the United States. And my heart broke for her and for many of my refugee friends on a day where we're expressing gratitude and thanks and sharing food together, that was the forefront of her mind.
Amy, what is your message right now to the refugee community I mean, it's got to be a frightening time for people who have been granted asylum, who are here on green cards, and to hear that the administration is going to do such a massive crackdown. We just heard from an attorney who indicated, Adam Craig, you probably know him, who thought that the federal courts were certainly going to intervene, and maybe it's not going to be as bad as advertised. But what's your message to the community right now as they're sort of sitting on the edge of their seats?
Well, at Utah Refugee Connection, we interact with refugees every day, and I always tell my team our biggest goal is to help them feel safe, seen, and supported, and then ultimately cherished in their community. And I think when you sit knee to knee with most of the refugees in our state, you discover some really remarkable and beautiful things. You know, they're intelligent, they're creative, they have amazing ingenuity, and they do so many remarkable things to make our community better. And so I just try and help them know that there may be some people that have different feelings than I do, but that I want them to feel reassured that I see them, I care about them, and we want them to be part of our community and feel safe and ultimately cherished in our community.
Amy, you shared what you do, and Greg's question was really about the refugee population. Mine is more about what Utahns can do to become more comfortable. Look, you know I have a heart for refugees, but it's because so many of my children were adopted from other countries, and now I have my own kids who've married people from other countries as well. I think that has really helped. What advice can you give to our listeners who may want to move past this narrative that somehow refugees are bad?
You know, I think it's hard to hate people up close. And I think when you have opportunities to sit knee to knee with people, whether it's volunteering or inviting, you know, people that you don't know well into your home or going to theirs, you discover a whole different world. And I think sometimes we tend to live a little bit in a bubble and interact with people in our own neighborhoods, in our own faith communities. And sometimes it takes stepping out of that to see the remarkable things that are going on in our community. And it is possible to have a multicultural experience in our own backyard and discover the remarkable beauty of different cultures and different faith backgrounds. And so I think looking for ways to engage with them before you judge is really critical.
Amy, when the United States left Afghanistan after that, just the way that it was all handled and however you want to define it politically, there were a lot of refugees that came into the United States who had arguably, a lot of them helped U.S. troops and U.S. military forces there. Do we have an Afghan refugee community here in Utah?
Yes, we do. And it's actually really cool to see individuals that were involved with these Afghans in Afghanistan advocate for them to become part of our community. I mean, a lot of the people that wanted to host and help these individuals from Afghanistan were men and women who fought alongside them and knew the amazing potential and goodness that they could offer into our communities and wanted them to feel safe and seen. And they knew that that probably wasn't going to be possible if they remained in Afghanistan. And so, you know, I always try to educate and advocate and try not to agitate, because I think we have a lot of agitation in our communities. And as someone that sit in hundreds of refugee homes and interacted with hundreds of refugees throughout the years, I feel great confidence in their ability to make our communities better, and that when we step in at the beginning of their time here in the United States and help them, you know, have their basic needs met, give them safety, security, home, food, they become the best versions of themselves. You know, it's pretty hard to be the best version of yourself if you're hungry, if you're scared. And, you know, a lot of my refugee friends who have gotten on their feet are giving back in really beautiful ways to the community. But I do worry about them, again, not feeling safe and some of the trauma that they might feel, you know, that they're reliving because of the trauma they endured when someone that was a brutal dictator or someone that didn't like their particular ethnicity just annihilated them, you know, and they had to flee, that again we're causing them great harm in letting them not feel safe and secure in our communities. And so, you know, I think the large majority of refugees are good and they contribute in remarkable ways. And there's no doubt that there are some that have nefarious aspirations, but those are very few. And we have the same thing in our own American culture. We have a lot of great people, but we also have a lot of people that don't want to do good things. And I think when we give each other the benefit of the doubt, we can each bring a piece of our beautiful culture and build something that creates a beautiful mosaic of friendship and faith and community. So I just hope people will maybe consider, today is Giving Tuesday, and I can't help but think, what can we do to make the world a little brighter, a little more safe for the vulnerable with so many safety nets, going away. So I'm hoping that people, despite some of the things they hear in the media, will determine that they want to add a bright spot for those that maybe don't have things as good as they did growing up, where much is given, much is required.
Thank you, Amy. That was Amy Harmer, Executive Director of the Utah Refugee Connection. And just so poignant, just to listen to her, but you have to feel like some of those Afghan refugees, Holly, must be scared literally for their lives right now.
Yeah.
That they're here for a reason, and they've been granted asylum for a reason, and they're refugees for a reason. And if they were to be deported or sent back to Afghanistan, it could be similar to what you might call a death penalty, or at least a life in prison. The consequences could be awful. And for doing nothing more than helping U.S. troops, helping our government when we were in their country understand, either by being an interpreter or giving some information, providing help to troops, believing and being told, we have your back when this
Right.
war is over. We're not going to leave you hanging.
Right. One of the things I want our listeners to know is that you can help with One Refugee Connection by donating. They're looking for soccer balls, children's books, a compact umbrella, or sponsoring a family gift. And they're taking donations at their share house in South Salt Lake on Mondays and Wednesdays. But you can go to serverefugeeorg and be able to find that information to help.
And Amy reminded us that it's Giving Tuesday.
It
One
is.
kind act a day. We'll be right back.
11:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Claire Scott, KSL's top story this hour. Mill Creek wants to remind the children in its community there are endless career possibilities and multiple ways to get there. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
The city is working with the United Way of Salt Lake to hold Mill Creek Futures. It's a program that offers an inside look at careers across different industries and exposes children to the different ways to get there. The program organizes field trips and guest speakers, showing kids all sorts of careers and giving them an idea of what it takes to get there. The program also hopes to help kids start planning their education post-high school and look at possible internships. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News. This is the week that around 250 federal agents are expected to arrive in New Orleans for a months-long immigration crackdown.
What do we do? In a steady rainstorm, several dozen demonstrators stood under umbrellas Monday to protest so-called Operation Swamp Sweep. Felix Allen of the group Ojos, Spanish for eyes, has been walking kids to school and adults to work.
We just watched to make sure we could be there to film and let people know their rights if anybody got stopped in that neighborhood.
A popular mid-city Mexican restaurant has decided to close during the immigration roundup to protect its employees and customers from arrest. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 88 points. The S&P is up 13 points. And coming up, we're seeing some light showers today. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:31.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Holidays are here, the countdown to Christmas, and it's time for you to make your reservations at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. I have to tell you how festive it is, whether it's downtown Salt Lake City at 275 Southwest Temple or up at Hotel Park City. Just the atmosphere, the decor, it is spectacular at Ruth's Chris. Now, as great as that ambiance is, you're there for a steak, right? You're there for a great, great meal. And Ruth's Chris Steakhouse never disappoints. Pick out that perfect steak. It will be cooked to perfection, and it's not just steaks. They have the seafood and the poultry and other dishes and the desserts at this time of year, the side dishes. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, the perfect place to celebrate the holidays this year. And don't forget, the perfect stocking stuffer, a gift card from Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
If you are facing divorce, call Cordell and Cordell today.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. CordellCordell.com.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Michelle Rowe.
The I-15 corridor, we're moving smoothly at this time, but we do have some maintenance. This is northbound State Street at 700 South. That is blocking the right lane, so you want to use some caution in that area. Whether you park it, stripe it, or pave it, GoPave Utah has your blacktop covered at GoPaveUtah.com. That's GoPaveUtah.com. Call or visit GoPaveUtah.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
We'll see rain this evening, which turns to snow overnight. Tomorrow, high of 39, low of 28. The next storm will arrive on Saturday. Right now, it is 41 and showering. I'm Claire Scott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com for Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Okay, we don't really want people to give a little bit, but it is Giving Tuesday. We want you to text us at 57500 and tell us how you're giving back today. We've been highlighting stories of kindness here on KSL News Radio, and our KSL Kindness Campaign is powered by One Kind Act a Day, a project by the Semnani Family Foundation. You can learn more about that at powerofkind.org.
And I am super happy that we're joined in studio by Mason Bennett, the director of One Kind Act today. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. I'm really glad to be here. Appreciate it.
I love the organization. I love this concept of One Kind Act today. Can you tell us even what was the genesis behind, hey, let's do an organization called One Kind Act today?
That's a great question. So the genesis of the organization started way back in 2022. Our founder, Mr. Khosrow Semnani from the Semnani Family Foundation, was looking at the state of the world at the time. You know, a lot of division, a lot of conflict, and I don't know if we thought things would get worse, but here we are today. And he thought, what can we do to improve this? What can we do to help? how can we make the world a better place? Rather than just throwing up his hands and saying, I wish someone would do something, he said, I'll do something. And so through the Simnani Family Foundation, he started the organization One Kind Act a Day. He had the thought that, out of everything and all the questions and answers and things we can do for the world, kindness is something that everyone can agree on, everyone can get behind, no matter your religious background, your socioeconomic background, where you're from. Kindness is inherent in who we are as human beings. And so that's something that is an answer and something that we can all get behind and agree on.
So tell us about the organization, what you do, what you're about, and what's going on right now.
That's a great question. So One Kind Act a Day. So, the mission is there in the name of the organization.
Sure.
We're trying to build kinder communities by inspiring daily acts of deliberate kindness. And we do that in a lot of different areas. We work in a lot of schools, K through 12, some university, teaching good habits of kindness. We work with communities and cities, building kinder communities. We work with businesses with internal and outward-facing initiatives towards kindness. We do work in corrections with juvenile detention and out of the Utah Department of Corrections. And then we also do work with interfaith efforts. You would think that religions who preach about kindness would have it covered, but it's a lot of fun to find ways to bring people together and see the commonality between different faiths as well. So those are the areas where we're doing our projects.
You mentioned working in correctional facilities. What does that look like? Do you do an actual training? Do you just encourage them, please be kind while you're here in prison? How does that look?
It's actually a lot of fun. So we have classes that we go out and we teach to the inmates, and classes on community building and kindness, especially in the environment they're in. Which stereotypically what you see on the media news doesn't seem like it'd be a kind environment. But I love going out there. We have a lot of classes. We have some volunteers, but I still reserve a class for myself to teach every week because I love going out there every day and hearing their insights and seeing their struggles, especially in their environment, and how they're able to maintain their human dignity and see a good way towards being kind. And we've seen a lot of really transformative experiences. I had one guy that I recall, he said, it's no secret that what got me here had its roots in selfishness. And this class has been the antidote to that for how I need to, connect with my family, with my community, and the person I want to be in my life. And so we teach classes, we encourage them to be kind, we have journaling, a lot of fun things we do with them.
That's so important, Mason, because, I deal with that community as well. It's part of my practice. And whether you admit it or not, except for the worst of the worst, they're all getting out someday. They're all coming out. And so whatever message you can give them while they're there about things to look forward to, things to work on, things that they can do for their community, because in a year or 2 or 3 they'll be out, and what's the message? What did they learn in prison? That's got to be pretty uplifting for you personally.
Yeah, it really is, because you're right. A lot of these people are trying to improve their life and make things better and learn good things in prison because they're going to come out, like you said, and be our neighbors, be our coworkers, and be part of our community. And so while we're out in the community, in cities and businesses and schools trying to spread it, we're also trying to prepare these people in the prison for when they rejoin and they can continue, their journey towards kindness as well.
You also mentioned schools, and when I think about schools, I think about junior high as probably the most difficult time for kids, right, when they're trying to figure out how to fit in, and bullying can be such an issue, I think. How do you work with the schools and getting them to implement kindness?
Schools are actually a lot of fun, and we do, anything from as simple as just getting some messaging out. I remember being a kid and standing in lines in the hallways, and you just look at all the walls, and if there's anything new on the walls, you read it, you look at it. And so getting out signs outside, posters on the walls. But then we also do tailor-made year-long initiatives with schools working towards a certified school of kindness designation from us, and we tailor-make a program to teach these habits of kindness to these kids. And it's kind of funny, we get a lot of people say, high school must be a really hard age, but high school is actually really fun. They're learning, who they want to be, how they want to give to the world. And people say, middle school, that must be the hard one with all these behaviors. Kids can be so mean, but kids aren't cruel like they say. Kids are kind, and they really catch hold of it. And what they're doing is they're trying to find those boundaries as they're growing and developing. And they need a good guiding hand to show them where those boundaries are, what's appropriate, and how to interact well with each other. And that's exactly why these kind of initiatives and programs are needed in this educational sphere.
Are you finding that the kids And to some extent, the administrators, teachers are receptive. Do they want your message? Are they inviting you into the schools?
Oh yeah. We have a long list of applicants already for this next year that we've had to tell to hold off as our human resources catch up, our capability catches up with the demand, because this is something everybody wants. Everybody wants to be. As a student, you want to be in a place where you feel like you're accepted, where you can give kindly, where others are kind to you. As a teacher, you want to feel like your students are respectful, and your coworkers are respectful. That's something that we see a lot as well, as getting kindness between staff. And so it's a big message everyone wants to share. There's a quote that's purported to have been said by Aristotle, where he said, "Educating the heart or educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all." And I think we had one principle say, if we're teaching our kids the quadratic formula, we need to teach them how to interact with each other in a positive way. And so it's a big message everyone's really excited to have.
So can you tell us more about the Power of Kind? Where can they can go there, right? powerofkind.org to learn more. What kind of resources do they have, and can people get involved with your organization?
Yeah, so on the powerofkind.org, our website, there's resources for ideas, articles. It's the holiday season, and so it's a good time to, you don't have to start your New Year's resolutions on New Year's. You can start, a commitment to be kinder right now. And so one of the things we have on our website is our Pledge of Kindness. We encourage people to take our Pledge of Kindness, where what you're doing is you're committing to be kinder. As kind as many of us are, we can always do a little bit more. And so with that commitment, New Year's resolutions, they only last a short while. And we found with habit formation, consistency and reminders are helpful. And so when you take our Pledge of Kindness, we send out a short little quote and an idea of something you can do on Monday to start your week and on Friday to start your weekend. I hate getting a lot of emails, and I hate getting long emails, so we just keep it nice, short and sweet, just an idea to keep it top of mind. And our unsubscribe rate, who unsubscribes from kindness, is very, very small. And we get a lot of fun feedback. Someone said, I see those emails, and sometimes I'm in a contrary mood, and I know I don't want to open it because I'm feeling mad, but I know when I do, it's going to make me feel better and give me a good idea. And so that's something we'd like to encourage people to do is to take that pledge and make that commitment towards kindness.
Well, we've been talking about One Kind Act today all week, and so it's nice, Mason, to put a face to that name and to help us understand what y'all do. And thanks for what you do, really, seriously, to our community.
No, I'm very grateful to be part of it, and very grateful to the Simnani Family Foundation for funding us and starting this project and keeping it going in our communities.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, especially on Giving Tuesday, and we're going to talk about that just a little bit when we come back.
Many people worry they're not making the right investment choices inside their 401ks. Did you know that you might have a little-known opportunity to add some additional investment choices to your 401k and get the help and recommendations you've been looking for? This exciting feature is called a self-directed brokerage window. And the best part? The money still stays within your 401k. Learn how the trusted advisors at Capital Wealth may be able to expand your investment portfolio. To learn more, call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Improving your 401k might mean the difference of retiring a few years earlier. Let's find out. Schedule your no-cost 15-minute consultation with the Capital Wealth team today. Call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
KSL offers the best daily newsletter in the state. It's the 3 things you need to know. Every weekday, we deliver quality and relevant content to your inbox. No ads, no spam, just the 3 things you need to know to be informed about the world around you. Subscribe today. Visit KSLNewsRadio.com or text the word INBOX to 57500. That's INBOX to 57500.
Well, winter is coming fast. Actually, it's here. And many kids here in Utah don't have warm coats or sturdy shoes to help them get through the cold months ahead.
KSL's Quarters for Christmas has been helping local children for years, turning your donations into warm coats and shoes for kids right here in our community.
Every dollar you give goes directly to providing coats and shoes for kids who need them most. It's easy to make a difference. Just go online to kslquarters.com, donate whatever you can, and know you're helping keep a child warm this winter.
Please join us in spreading a little comfort and a lot of kindness with KSL's Quarters for Christmas.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Eye Care for Kids makes sure children in underserved communities get the vision care they need. Through screenings, mobile clinics, and outreach programs, they help kids see clearly, learn confidently, and enjoy every day to the fullest. CEO Maggie Klein joins us with more.
At Eye Care for Kids, our mission is simple: to make sure every child has access to professional eye care and the glasses they need to clearly see their world every day. Since 2001, we've provided more than 500,000 vision care services, including vision screenings, eye exams, and corrective eyewear to underserved children and adults in the Southwest United States and Africa. In Utah, we work with 14 school districts, maintain 2 permanent clinics, and send our mobile vision clinic to homeless shelters, refugee centers, Native American reservations, schools, and rural areas, reaching children where they are and removing barriers to care. Because vision doesn't wait, neither do we. Every pair of glasses we provide opens a door to new opportunities, helping children read, learn, and grow with confidence. This Giving Tuesday, please consider supporting Eye Care for Kids by visiting Eye Care for Kids, that's EYECARE, the number 4, KIDS.org.
Across Utah, children are gaining clearer vision and brighter futures thanks to accessible eye care and glasses. Eye Care for Kids helps children learn better, grow more confident, and thrive both in school and in their everyday lives. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
Join the KSL Real Estate Show at a special time this Saturday, 7 a.m. before the BYU pregame show. The latest on Wasatch Front real estate. This Saturday morning from 7 to 8.
Inside Sources.
If you donate money on Giving Tuesday, you could qualify for a 2025 charitable deduction, but President Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill made tax changes that could affect your tax break in 2025 and beyond, which was something I just saw today.
Right. Some 36.1 million U.S. adults participated in Giving Tuesday in 2024, with donations totaling $3.6 billion, up from $3.1 billion in 2023, according to estimates from Giving Tuesday Data Commons.
We have Billy Hesterman with us. He's the president of the Utah Taxpayers Association. Thanks for joining us, Billy.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Can you tell us what do we need to know if we're planning on making a donation today? How is that going to impact our tax deductions?
Well, first off, thank you to anyone who's giving today. You know, this is how we decrease our dependency on the government, is that we help our nonprofit sector and we make sure that those organizations are able to fulfill their missions. But what you should know is that the One Big Beautiful Bill has increased your standard deduction that everyone generally takes when filing their taxes. So if you're married and filing jointly, that standard deduction now is up to $31,500. And so if you're thinking about, is that $200 donation or even a $700 donation or whatever it might be that you're generously giving might help your taxes, it definitely, could have an impact there. But you also have to think, am I going to get myself above that $31,500 figure to actually have it impact your taxes greater than what the standard deduction will do?
Billy, how do our listeners know whether or not their particular contribution to whatever agency it is will be tax deductible?
It's general rules. You want to make sure it's a 501c organization of some kind, a C3. Generally, it's most of what them are that are seeking donations today and looking to give you a tax break. So any kind of nonprofit organization, whether it's helping out the food bank or maybe making a donation to your local school organization that they have that helps fund organizations at your child's school, those types of things are where you're looking for. But you should ask when making the donation, is this tax deductible?
Billy, are you tax deductible? Utah Taxpayers Association?
We are indeed. So if you want to help out the Utah Taxpayers Association, we'd love for you to give to us today. Just visit utahtaxpayers.org and click on our Support Us button.
Interesting. We've had several today. So we've had One Kind Act today. We also have had Utah Refugee Connection come and talk with us. We've had Utah Women Run, which is a 501c3. So lots of opportunities. I have a question for higher earners, which I'm not one of. But would it be better for them to wait until 2026, or would it be better for them to give in 2025?
Well, for those who are fortunate enough, if you're a higher earner, you want to do it this year because there are some changes coming next year that will impact them. One being there will be a charitable deduction floor put in place from the One Big Beautiful Bill. And I know our delegation was actually heavily involved in working this and making sure that it was something that Utahns still could benefit from. But basically it's saying, a 0.5% of your adjusted gross income, you have to donate more than that for the charitable deduction actions to be triggered or for you to be allowed to deduct them. I'm just guessing that a lot of those, not all, but a lot in question might be closer to that 10% range. So the floor may not be as big of a worry here, but it was something that caught the eyes of our local delegation. They wanted to make sure that Utahns could still benefit from a charitable deduction on their tax status.
So let me make sure I understood you, Billy. If I want to get the benefit for my 2025 tax returns, I need to make the contribution during the calendar year 2025, generally.
Correct. So what you're filing in April is the form for the previous year. So if you want a 2025 tax benefit, you need to do it this year. If you're waiting for next year, hold on to that money and take advantage of the benefits that will come from the One Big Beautiful Bill. You'll then take care of that in your April filings in 2027 for the year 2026.
Thank you so much, Billy. We've been speaking with Billy Hesterman. He's president of the Utah Taxpayers Association. And we had a texter also who was commenting on the refugee status about a nonprofit called Their Story is Our Story. I'm very familiar with them. They're really great. They also have a web page. It's TSOS, so Their Story is Our Story, refugees.org, TSOSrefugees.org. And what they do is really, I think, really bring to light the stories of these refugees and some of the things that they've gone through before they get here into the United States or elsewhere, right? Whether they come to the U.S. or they go to Germany or other places. Okay, today, fun facts. I have a few.
I'll bet you do.
This is actually kind of a big day. It's on this day in 1975, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, was signed into law. So today is Special Education Day. That's important to me as a mom. I had, as you know, multiple kids who came who needed extra help. Some of them were older when they joined our family and had never learned to read, or I even had a daughter who at age 7 had never held a pencil, really didn't know how to draw or distinguish between letters and numbers because that was not a life-saving skill she needed.
Right.
So today, 50th anniversary of IDEA.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Okay, I have a couple of others. I have a couple others. There's this really beautiful picture, by the way. I included that in the Utah Policy newsletter. It is a butterfly, a cosmic butterfly. So this is a telescope in Chile that captured a picture of a butterfly nebula. It's 2,500 to 3,800 light years away, and it literally looks like this butterfly made of light. It's really, really beautiful.
Cosmic Butterfly was a rock group. Oh, no, that was Iron Butterfly. Never mind.
It might be, could be. Okay, so have you ever heard of the term manifest destiny?
Yes, I have.
Okay, on this day in 1845, U.S. President James Polk announced to Congress that the United States should aggressively expand into the West, and that was a widely held belief that was called manifest destiny by a newspaper editor. So LDS pioneers hit Utah in 1847, but it was in 1845 that the President of the United States said, hey, we should go take all the rest of this land mass here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you think days of 47, so 2 years
Yeah,
earlier.
that's right. Okay, so I have to point this out. I think this is an interesting / strange thing that happens when larger countries go to war. They divide up other countries without their input. So on this day in 1899, the U.S. and Germany agreed to divide Samoa. Well, that was very kind of them, wasn't it?
Is it still divided?
Yeah, you have American Samoa and you have Samoa.
Oh, I didn't know. I knew that. I didn't realize that was the division, though.
Yep.
Okay, that makes
yeah,
sense.
and so wasn't that nice of us? So.
Yeah. Unless you're Samoan.
So the Environmental Protection Agency first opened its doors on this day in 1970, so now 55 years old. And then this is a Utah-based story, but go ahead.
It's an agency that's taken a hit.
Oh,
with
it
the new
is.
Administration.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a shell of what they were a year ago.
That is right. So in 1982, the first permanent artificial heart was successfully implanted at the University of Utah. It went into retired dentist Barney Clark, and he lived 112 days with the Jarvik 7 heart. So I don't know if you were around for that, but
I remember that.
I was in nursing school at BYU at the time, and I remember we took a field trip up to the University of Utah where the surgeon who implanted that heart talked to us as young nursing students about what a big deal it was, and it was huge. Right, it was a huge deal. So that was on this day in 1982.
Wow, I remember that. I remember sort of everybody was sort of hanging on the thread, like,
I know.
How long is he going to live? How long is he going to be around? And just counting it and thinking, okay, if this works, even for a day, what's it going to be like in a year?
Right.
What's it going to be like in the future?
That's right. So we have come to the end of our show. We are giving the show to Maria Chaleos. She's up next. She's going to have the latest on the storms that are moving in later today. Stay with us on KSL News Radio.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. Good afternoon. KSL News Time is 12 o'clock noon, and this is Midday. I'm Maria Chaleos. KSL's top story. We finally have snow here in Utah after a very dry few months, but now we're looking at 3 storms in just a week. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff takes a look at the storms that are moving in.
The first of these 2 storms is already moving into northern Utah.
We actually have some light showers developing across northern Utah. That should continue through this afternoon into this evening. And that showery weather will continue into